Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Mission Impossible in Review. That's right, we are ranking and reviewing every single movie in the Mission Impossible franchise. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the last one for now.
You finally get all of the references in that title.
Exactly. I get everything.
You were like,
now.
why is Johnny Ace pumping his finger?
I don't know what's going on. I didn't see that show like 3,500 times. But yeah, this is Mission Impossible Fallout. Very excited to talk about it. But yeah, this is Mission Impossible in Review. Every Tuesday, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames at 11 a.m. We do the show live. You can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny or on brewsterteeth.com or listen to it as a podcast. Just search for Kind of Funny Reviews. On that podcast feed, you also get our Game of Thrones final season in review series that's going on. Game, baby. That's on Monday.
Let me ask you a question about that. Not to promote that other series too, but how long do you think until we break Andrea?
I mean, we're definitely
chipping there. Right? We're definitely chip damaging.
I'm pretty proud of her though. Because like she's hanging with us.
She wore a blazer yesterday, and I put my feet up. That's where we're at.
And your stupid
ass little side card.
Why do you guys hate this side coffee table?
You don't need it. You have
There's
space.
Not enough space. I gotta have my laptop so I can look up all the names that I'm not gonna remember.
Oh my god.
Then why ask for the who are people?
This is the last episode of Mission Impossible in Review for now. We have 2 more movies confirmed coming out though in this series, 2021 and 2022.
That's him.
Yes.
The Crimes of Grindelwald, Mission Impossible.
Yes, Nick.
Have we finally converted you to a Mission Impossible fan?
100%.
That happened last week.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because you know how it's always like one movie converts you, but the second one, the last one that you watch, has to like cement it.
This is a perfect sequel. Are you kidding me?
Good.
Like I love how they treated this in every way.
It's just a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Just bring it back Lane, bring it back everyone. This is what I love about this movie is the whole series could have ended here, and I'd be like, cool.
I'm good.
We get the resolution with Julia. We get the resolution with Lang, kind of. Not really, because he's still alive.
Yeah.
Like, put a bullet in his fucking head. Why do they hog tie him? Put a bullet in his fucking head.
This guy should be done at this point. But okay, let's get into it. Mission Impossible Fallout.
You should have killed me.
Shout out to Patreon producer David Mintel.
Someone in chat just said Kevin and Andy look like a before and after photo.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Mission Impossible Fallout released on July 27th, 2018. Not that long ago. This was last year. Like,
if you remember, I think all of us, I think me, Kevin, and Andy at some point watched it within a week of each other. Just were gushing about it on the morning show.
You remember, this was the movie that killed MoviePass.
It's also the movie that killed Superman or Justice League. Remember? That's
right.
Everyone blamed how bad Justice League was on this movie. I was like, I don't know, guys.
I think all of you saw it in theaters, I believe, and I really wanted to see it in theaters, but I for some reason just didn't get to it. And I saw it over Christmas break where I bought the 4K disc.
Oh yeah.
And me and my dad sat down and watched it, and the movie was over, and I opened the disc and I was like, "Dad, you didn't put in the 4K one," and he was like, "Son of a bitch!" So we'll pop it in. Let's watch some more.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole. Horrible 4K transfer for this movie. The IMAX stuff, beautiful, stunning,
just so good.
It shows how bad the rest of it is because, dude, so much grain. It's not intentional. It's just it looks bad.
Film all the IMAX.
What was in IMAX? Was all the helicopter stuff in IMAX?
Helicopter stuff was in IMAX.
So good.
And the Halo drop.
The Halo drop.
Oh, that fucking shot where you're like, is he? Oh shit, we're going with him.
Yeah,
we're out.
And the IMAX shots though, oh my god, stunning.
Yep.
Stunning is the only word. Like when it goes, you're just like, oh.
It's really one of those things where we have to make a concerted effort for when 7 comes out to just go see it in theaters. We got to go see it in IMAX because these things,
100%.
when you see these on the big screen, these are meant to be seen on the biggest screen possible with the loudest fucking system possible.
Hell yeah.
Giant popcorn, giant Diet Coke, and all your friends. These are just fucking unbelievably, almost perfect action movies. Andy from the
Can I get a cherry Coke?
Yes, you can.
Cool,
I will allow it. I will allow
Thanks,
it.
man.
Parliament will allow it.
Parliament will
Released
allow
on July 27, 2018. A fun little fact here, a little fact should you choose to accept it. Post-production on the film was completed on July 3rd, 2018, less than 3 weeks before the premiere.
Oh, wow.
Because remember, he broke his foot. So he got seriously
delay.
injured
Everything got
and it got
delayed.
delayed.
Yeah, that makes
which
sense.
was bad. And that shot, you can see him hit his foot on the thing.
Visceral,
when he gets up, he limps away for a second, and you're like, oh, he actually really broke his
Was that
fucking
the
foot.
actual shot where he breaks his foot?
I don't know if the shot, the reverse shot was him limping away, but I think the jump when he knocks his foot against the thing, that's where he broke it.
That's the one that from the other angle. From the other angle, I thought that was like when it first leaked online. I thought he broke his ribs because he landed so hard against the edge of it.
I mean,
violent shit.
It was awesome.
at the end of this movie,
What a great shot.
when he's like just lying on the ground, it's like, dude, you feel it, like how exhausted he is, and how much
You're exhausted.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god.
And also,
Thank God it's
he's
over.
bloodier than we've ever seen him.
Oh, yeah.
Like he looks like he's battered.
But I love that. I love that too because there's a touching moment at the very, very end where like they trade off. Julia goes out and Ilsa comes in, and he just kind of touches her face for a second, like looks at her bruises, just like he's more concerned with her than he is with himself. And she's like, "You
it's
never
weird.
looked better."
The wife stuff is weird to me, but I'll take it.
Look at man, it's just is what it is. Okay?
Yeah, they're like, hey, we made a mistake. We should have never had this fucking wife to begin with. We all know that Isla is the one
Ilsa.
for all of us.
Oh no, Ilsa, but they had that moment where I'm like, what did she whisper to? What did she whisper to her?
Yeah.
She's like, hey,
You know?
I don't know what was that, but it was like a cool little
Dude,
moment.
when they meet up and she's like, you should have gone with me, and it's like, yeah,
He's like, you should have quit.
yeah,
You should have come with me. God, it was good.
I'm jumping around here with the fun facts, but I would never have known this. Rebecca Ferguson was pregnant while filming this movie.
Whoa. You're kidding
She
me.
was about 7 months pregnant when filming was completed.
How?
I don't know.
She looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I
Good
mean,
for her.
you got to imagine they started filming when she wasn't.
7 months pregnant,
Yeah.
but
Maybe,
still.
yeah, they probably if I were a director and I found out one of my leads was pregnant, you probably do
Yeah,
all of her
get all
shots
those
first.
yeah.
Get all that stuff
It's
out of the way
insane, though.
first.
But yeah, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, aka the Justin Lin of this franchise.
Yeah.
I love he's taking command. He's like,
He wrote
let's
it
just-
too, right?
Oh, did he?
I think he wrote it and
I don't have
directed it.
writers
Yeah,
for this, but
because he was I think he was a writer on 5.
He was.
and then came into he directed 5 as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think he wrote and directed both.
he did
of these.
5, 6. He's doing 7, 8.
Good for him.
Thank God.
So
They're great.
You know, I'd have it no other way.
He gets it. Like there's so much. There's one moment in this movie, and we were talking about it earlier, where I was like, if this didn't get Tim on board, nothing will. Where when he walks in, the White Widow is talking about her mom, and then
it's
says the word
Max.
Max.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't catch it the first time.
Me either.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's
I did.
really genius because they're going to keep her going. She's going to be the arms dealer now.
But
Yeah.
it's also likely because I didn't see part 1
Yeah.
in 20 years
fucking
or whatever.
Yeah,
you know? I
watching them
hadn't
back
seen
to
it.
back, it's like it's obvious.
Makes
but
sense.
Had I not then been doing this interview, there's no way I would have got that.
No, and honestly, I didn't when I first watched it, and mostly because I was watching Tom Cruise like as he's walking through this cool, weird, eyes wide shut fucking VIP room that looks kind of boring actually. Like I was watching him, I wasn't listening to what she was saying, and when I was taking notes, I was trying to because I was like, oh, this is pertinent to the plot, and I heard her say, my mother Max like loves paradoxes, and I was like, oh, that's like directly from number 1. Like you're a
Yeah.
paradox, I'm a paradox, we're all paradox.
Hell yeah,
it's pretty
dude.
cool. Actually, I like that
We're
little
all
touch because they don't
paradoxes.
beat you over the head with it. You don't need to.
Yeah.
she's
No.
not like
Yeah.
quoting her mom the entire time. She's just I'm off on my own, do my thing.
Yeah.
Except she's got that dipshit brother that just needs a fucking bullet to the back of his head.
Yeah.
Directed, I already said directed by budget of 178 million, box office of 791
Hell yeah, baby.
million
Deserved it,
dollars,
dude.
He's
man.
going.
Yeah.
Inching towards that, Billy. I love it. And a runtime of ridiculously long, 2 hours
It was
and
long.
27 minutes.
I started
Very long.
that was my only critique with this one. As I was taking notes, I had to take a break for an hour because it takes me probably about 2 times longer to watch the movie than it should because I have to pause, rewind, get stuff. And at a certain point, I'm like, this is a good movie, but
It felt like it's 2
fucking
movies.
long.
Yeah.
It is
It did.
long.
Like it felt like when I paused it, I was like, they could have ended it here, but there's still an hour and 12 minutes to go.
I watched an hour and a half of it on Sunday night. Then I paused and paused, like, hey, we should go to bed. And I was like, all right. And then I watched the rest last night, and it's just like, it's a long movie. And frankly, taking the pause, I think did it like it was a good thing for
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
We took a pause, and I don't think it was a good thing.
Oh.
No, I mean, watching this in theaters, the way it ramps up, and like so when I watch it in theaters and we have to sit and watch it all in one thing, you got no screens. The tension by the end was unbelievable.
Absolutely.
When they're fighting on Pride Rock, it's just like you're like, oh my god, like fucking
Yeah.
a, what is gonna happen? Everything's like, there's not 1 bomb, there's 2 bombs, and we got to do it at the same time. And she's there, and everyone's there. It's fucking intense, dude. By the end of it, I was like, I'm sweating, and I want to get out of this movie theater.
So tense.
It was so good.
What I really appreciate about this movie is that it's very kind of slow and deliberate in a way that the other ones aren't, and it feels like there's a payoff. There's not too many crazy action scenes in this
I
one.
think there's actually less action in this one than there was
in the last one,
in 5.
definitely, and it doesn't move
And it's
as
not as
fast.
fast.
But it is like we have these characters now. We know who they are. Let's just sit with it for a bit.
Well, I
which
think-
is a weird choice for an action movie, but I feel like it pays off because
Well, because
they
I think
really
what,
care
I think
about
what they realized.
the dynamics.
It was this thing that your big criticism of 1, 2, and 3, which was that we don't have characters we give a shit about because they keep changing the team out. Finally, if you remember, this is the 3rd time we've seen Simon Pegg. So, and the 5th or 6th time
Fourth
we've
time.
seen Luther.
Fourth
Fourth
time.
time. So
Yeah.
the 5th time we've seen Luther, and Julia's now back,
6th
and
time.
and Rebecca's back. Rebecca Ferguson's back for this one. So we like
no
these
Jeremy
characters
Renner
now.
though, which is a bummer. He
Yeah.
was only not in it. He was supposed to be in it, but only not in it because he had to do Infinity War and Endgame. I guess just in Endgame, but whatever.
I wish there was a nod to it, but like they don't mention him at all.
But the great part about it, his character's not dead.
Yeah.
He could come back as the secretary in the next one. Who knows? Yeah. There's also
that'd be cool.
And that's why I like this, because you're starting to get scenes where it is like Fast and Furious, where we do start to care more about the dynamics of the characters than the action to a certain degree. And that's actually just the sign of kind of like a good series.
Well, also, I like that it wasn't just like, let's have all action all the time. It's like, let's have really cool action scenes like we've never seen before and really pay attention.
Let's also really try to fuck with the audience as much as humanly possible.
Well, I also wonder if there's
so many good moments where you're like, what?
Are we sure?
Blitzer tears his fucking face. That's how Wolf Blitzer?
Are we sure that there were less action scenes, but like I feel like there were equal action scenes, but just a lot more plot, a lot more dialogue.
I don't think so, because like I'm talking about big set piece action scenes. I'm not talking about chase scenes. Chase scenes in this movie are essentially dialogue with vehicles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm not talking about the simple stuff. I'm talking about like the opera scene in 5.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like this movie didn't have that, where it's like that was the middle set piece.
Right.
This movie had the halo drop and it had the helicopter chase as the
restroom.
And then the restroom fight, right? But it's I feel like there wasn't as many like tent-pole-y things, but I feel like they were longer and more deliberate.
Also, one of the things I want to give a shout out to is the action in this. Specifically the car chases and stuff was beautifully done, but it's not as chaotic as the other stuff. It's not as frenetic. Like there's moments where they go, we're going to take a step. I think they honestly thought, let's take a step back and do a lot of this shit practically, because there's a lot of like cool stunts they do with that BMW, like that little green BMW, where he like pulls the e-brake and they like spin around over the thing. I'm like, this is just cool shit. And honestly, with the backdrop of Paris, it's just kind of cool to watch him just like all the motorcycle stuff. He doesn't do nearly as much in this on the motorcycle as he did on that road in Morocco. Mm-hmm. Like he's not fucking people up, but he's just tearing on the streets and like he just looks cool.
The sound design is so cool with the motorcycle stuff.
It's very Bullet-esque, where it's just like we're gonna be in this scene and just.
But they'll be going through and then you hear the. And it's like super. It makes you feel like you're in this world and there's no music.
Yeah, they cut down the music
score for so many scenes.
But also, like, did you guys notice that like most of those shots with him whipping around the city on the motorcycle were just? It's so cool because they can get wide coverage because it's actually him.
Yeah.
So like it's not just him and then cutting to really, really super wide for a stunt double going by. It's literally just, I'm sorry, not wide, but like more of like a medium wide shot of him just doing all the stuff. And you can tell he's actually dropping a fucking knee or dropping a foot. Like I love that shit they do where he like, to counterbalance, he drops a foot to like, to get, I'm like, this is cool looking. He really knows how to do
the cars and stuff. It's like, wow, this is so tight.
He also looks like how I would ride a bike or a motorcycle because like we're short. So like it looks like he can't fully reach the ground.
Let's put it this way: they didn't pick. There's a specific they didn't pick dirt bike style things because that would be too tall for him. They picked more like street bikes, which is smart. It's a smart idea.
Shout out to him running again.
Always.
This movie.
He gets so much of it in this one. Yeah, I love it. The scene where he gets into that office. And like everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? And some lady just gets up and he grabs the chair, he throws it, and then tells
Benji's like, what are you waiting for? He's like, oh, jumping out of a window. And he's like, oh, sorry, I was on. Like he had screen lock on and it was in 2D.
They did that so well that like there was 2 times where he was like, oh yeah, the orientation lock's on, and then the other one's like, oh, I didn't have 3D mode on.
I could have had like at least 3 times more Benji.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Benji's a nice like. He's like the sea salt, where you put it on top and it makes everything that much better. Yeah. But you don't want to use it too much. You know what I mean?
Man. I think you should use it more always.
Well, I want him to have like a killer fight scene because every time he tries to fight, people hand him his ass.
Well, yeah, he's fighting against people that are fucking really like they're big. Not normal people. Like Lane, right? No, not Lane.
Well, Solomon Lane.
Solomon Lane
he knows his shit. He's just like a super agent.
He's on the same. Yeah, he's on the same level as
Ethan
exactly
and Ilsa. Yeah.
And I kind of feel like you forget that. And then you have moments.
Benji throws a punch and gets housed.
Yeah, and just gets the shit beaten out of him.
So Simon Pegg was told he didn't need to train at all, even for his fight scenes, because they just kind of wanted him to be Simon Pegg. But he said that he was like, I'm around Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise. Like, I have access to a lot of this stuff. I'm just going to do it. So we got an 8-pack.
Did he really?
Oh,
yeah.
I would fucking totally do it. Why not?
All right, let's hit the plot.
Plot. Oh, okay.
Just
give me
shorter bridge.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you do that, but without the plot? I just want the drums. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's how this fucking movie starts. An aggressive amount of bongos, dude. And you know
every movie steps the bongos
Bongo
up.
Game on fucking high alert on this one. And you know what? I'm not going to complain because it gets you fucking hyped for this. Bongo, bongo, bongo. But guess what? What is it? Here's your expectation. We're going to go into a scene where you're subverting the expectation because we're in Thailand.
Yeah.
And he's getting married. And Julia's there. and we can't see the preacher's face, and everything's beautiful.
But you hear his bitch-ass little voice.
But you hear it.
Yeah.
Right? It's a familiar voice. It's a terrorizing voice. It's Lane, and Lane is there, and he's giving him the foreshadowing of things to come. He says, Ethan and Julia, do you take her forever to have and to hold? To shield her from the terrors known and unknown. And this shit starts to get dark real fast. And he's to force her to hide and take everything away that she has known, to escape your own true self. And Ethan realizes what's happening and looks over, and boom, they just get fucking nuked.
Yeah.
Just nuked. And it turns into the first scene from Terminator 2, where the kid's holding onto the thing and they just melt away. And he wakes up in Belfast, Ireland. To a knock on the door, and he opens it up, and the man is just cloaked in shadows. And we don't fucking care who he is. And they have this cool back and forth with the code where he goes, fate whispers to the warrior, a storm is coming, and the warrior whispers back, I am the storm. Nasty, right?
So cool.
He gets a copy of Homer's The Odyssey with, of course, the mission briefing in it, and we catch up with what's been going on since we put Lane in the slammer. What's been going on is the syndicate is still out there fucking wrecking havoc, right? We're trying to track them down, but now they're going. They're still going strong. There was a smallpox outbreak in Kashmir that they're responsible for. And now they're known as the Apostles. They're just these disciples of Lang. We got to go take them down. Here's the thing. There's a guy out there named John Lark. He's a new client who I don't know what the fuck I did. Who hired the Apostles. And he is author of this apocalyptic manifesto that's calling for the destruction of the current world order. I love that. John Lark responsible for the disappearance of this scientist, Niels Delbruck. He's also responsible for the 3 plutonium cores going missing, which means... I'm sorry. I guess the scientist is responsible for the 3 plutonium cores. John Lark, the Apostles, now. I didn't really take very good notes on this. Yeah, they can all make, if they get all together, they can make 3 very powerful nuclear bombs, which when they bring up the map of coverage of the world, basically is just like the full world. With 3 nukes to this size, they can just really fuck up the full world.
Super portable bombs.
Very, very portable. Very cool bombs. They have
very
cool.
Yeah. Also,
secret is
little balls
looking things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we cut over to Berlin, where we have to go for the meat, right? They've been charged with going to buy these nuclear cores to get them off the market. Benji and Ethan are hanging out in a very spooky place. You feel like maybe get a little more light on this place if you're going to meet.
Maybe
with
go to the Walmart.
But I feel like that's where the the dealer chose.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And Benji and Ethan's like, Benji's like, are you relaxed? I'm not relaxed. And he goes, well, you sound relaxed. And he's like, and Benji's like, they're going back and forth. And Benji's like, well, it's entirely possible to be relaxed and extremely uneasy at the same time. It's just fun little Benji stuff here. Luther chimes into the van that he does not sound relaxed. And they're all fucking with Benji. Then the seller shows up and says, let's see. Luther's in the van. They're ready to get the money. Luther goes, cool. Gets out of the van. All the power goes out, right? And he goes, shit, what happens? Opens up, someone puts a gun in his face, right? Meanwhile, the seller has this cool line where he's like, I've survived in this game for a very long time because I have this little voice inside me. And Ethan goes, what's the voice telling you? And he goes, nothing. That's what, he's like, I don't like that. And he goes, well, they tell the voice to shut the fuck up because I'm buying these goddamn cores from you today. And the guy's like, all right, fuck it. Keep bringing the money. And he keeps going, Luther, bring me the money. Bring me the money. Boom. Lights go out.
We really need
that money.
Really need that money, Luther.
Really need that money, Luther. And the guy's like, kill him. And then all of a sudden another team starts shooting at him. All hell breaks loose. This is going to be a theme for this movie. Lots of teams in dark places.
Yeah, a lot of double
blocking. Not the best in this movie. There's multiple moments where you're like, what's happening? How does she keep finding them? It doesn't matter. They get the cores, but of course someone walks out with Luther and is like, if you don't give me those cores right now, I'm going to kill this guy. And this is basically the overall theme of this movie, is that Ethan does not have it in him to make the hard choice. He will not sacrifice one guy for he's the anti-Spock, right? He believes that the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many, or the one. He will not sacrifice his guys. He won't make the hard choice.
Meanwhile, Luther's just like, fuck, kill me,
he says, Ethan, don't do this for, and he tears up a little bit. He's like, don't do this for me. Do it. Just kill me. Ethan, of course, goes, cool, shoots him in the chest. Downs him, knows he's wearing bulletproof vest, thank God. By the way, I have that sense too of everyone that's wearing a bulletproof vest. Kevin's wearing one. No, I was wrong. Luther goes down. They run over to him, right? Everyone gets away. And they go, wait, we should be dead. Why aren't we dead? Where's the fucking plutonium? Look over, it's gone. It was all red herring. They just wanted to get them away from the plutonium and get it out. Meanwhile, they had this cool little GoldenEye moment where I think it was GoldenEye, where he drives the car with his phone.
Oh yeah,
and that never came back, which I kind of was disappointed on. I thought we were gonna bring that back. I was like, that's cool setup, but it's not, and it doesn't matter because let's see where
those little moments of like get the car, and he's like, oh right, it's just so fun.
I don't think I can do that, Ethan. No. Get the car, Benji.
Yeah, that was cool. Meanwhile, we go back over to Ramstein Air Base in Germany, where Alec Baldwin's there, and man, he just looks great in this.
Mm-hmm. He does.
He has the best head of hair,
but he lost like a lot of weight.
This is like after he had married this yoga instructor wife, and she just whipped his ass into shape. She was like, 30 Rock, you're too big, buddy. You got to slim that down. We need you to be the secretary of the IMF. He says they unlocked. Look, let's. I guess he unlocked a phone. When did I get that?
Is he the Secretary of Defense?
He's the Secretary of the IMF.
Specifically the IMF.
Yeah. He came over from being like a head of the CIA to come over to IMF, which he describes in this as a lateral move.
Yeah,
if not a step down.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Are you talking about the scene where they trick the guy into unlocking his own phone?
No, not yet.
No, we have. Oh, you know
No,
what?
actually,
I'm sorry. That happens before he sees.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I passed a lot of that.
That was a great scene.
I apologize. So yeah, I missed that whole part. So let's see.
Kill him. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
Basically, Niels Delbruck wakes up in a hospital to news of Wolf Blitzer saying all these explosions.
So I don't know. I missed the part where how we got to this, but yeah, he wakes up. Ethan plays this perfectly, where he's just totally distraught, acts like he's gonna kick his ass, and Luther plays the good cop, and he's like, "Listen, what if we read this manifesto on air? Meanwhile, you're seeing Wolf Blitzer on the TV on CNN, and he goes, if you read that on air, I'll unlock this phone for you, right? What's the word? All the bombs already went off, right? So cool." Makes the call. Ethan makes the call. Really sells it. Wolf. Meanwhile, like a second later on TV, Wolf Blitzer comes on and goes, "I'm getting a message, an interruption here. We're gonna read this manifesto." Reads the manifesto and says, "Without the greater the suffering, the greater the peace." Right? Nothing can happen without great suffering. Revolution, yada yada yada. And the guy starts to laugh. It goes, "Here," unlocks the phone. Luther hooks it up to the machine. They hack into the phone, download all the data, do all what they gotta do. And he goes, "Do we get it? We got it. Cool." And then. I don't know how they rig walls like this, but I want all of our walls to one day do this.
I want them to do this.
They hit a button and they just all collapse, and it's just a big fuck you to the guy. Like he goes, and then he has this great line where he's like, the guy prior to that, he was like, "It's over, right?" He says, "It's over. Why do I care?" And Ethan looks at him, he goes, "It's over when I say it's over, motherfucker."
Yeah, dude.
We got it.
Wolf Blitzer walks over and
like,
makes fun of him.
Yeah, he's like, "We get it," and pulls it off, and in Wolf Blitzer's voice, but it's Benji. Dude, is there.
That fucking scene was beautiful.
It was so good.
So good.
Then we go to Ramstein base, where Ethan meets with Huntley, which is Alec Baldwin. Says that phone you unlocked led us to a server in Iceland where we decrypted a communique, love the use of that term, between John Lark and a woman named the White Widow, which is what she goes by. There's no other name, just the White Widow, who played by none other than Vanessa Kirby from The Crown and soon to be Hobbs and Shaw. She's an arms dealer. They're going to meet tonight in Paris to broker a deal for a package, which we think are the missing plutonium cores. There's a great scene where Ian tries to apologize, but Huntley says, "Listen, you have some flaw deep down that won't let you sacrifice your team, which means I can count on you because I'm a member of your team. So don't make me regret this shit," right? They're about to get on this badass plane, and then all of a sudden, who do we see? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Angela Bassett and Superman.
All right.
Walking down a hallway. And she just goes, as they walk out, she goes, "Call it." And he just makes a call, which I guess is to the pilot, because the plane shuts down. And they have this just unbelievable pissing contest where just Erica Sloan is her character, basically hands him his ass. He goes, "It might be your mission, but that's my fucking plane. And you know what? You're fucking everything up. This guy, we could have been totally missed all this situation if you'd have just made the hard choice, but you don't have it in you to make the hard choice. You fucked up. So guess what? You're getting a chaperone. And that chaperone is none other than Agent August Walker." The most American name you can possibly imagine, and boy, does he do a terrible American accent this entire time. Not only that, but they give him the dumbest things to say throughout this entire movie.
The accent didn't bother me. What he said did bother me, though, a lot. Also, I didn't like Angela Bassett's character or like any of the plot points surrounding her.
I mean, her character is very much Alec Baldwin in 4.
It's Alec Baldwin in 4. It's Kittredge in 1. There's always got to be some character that's.
There shouldn't always have to be that.
I like it because it always puts them at odds, and they have to find a way for this team to operate on their own. That's just the modus operandi of this whole movie franchise.
Lane or Lang?
Lane.
Solomon Lane.
Okay.
Of course, Erica Sloan is her character. Walker comes up and she's like, listen, we're gonna handle this shit. We got a team in Paris, and Alec Baldwin has a great line where he's like, you're gonna spend 24 hours that we don't have to pull a confession we can't trust out of a man we can't positively identify. This is why the IMF exists. And she goes, you prefer, I love this line. She goes, great, you prefer a scalpel. I prefer a hammer. And she points to fucking Cal, and he's just like, I'm a big dumb hammer. Yeah. It's great. I like to think of myself as the scalpel and Kevin as the hammer. And Tim, you can be the screwdriver. And Andy, you can be the snack.
Spork?
You can be the snack that's in the tool chest that we forgot was there, but that we're super happy. Yeah, you know.
Lunchable?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a ham one, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. So this man goes where you go, and then she pulls him aside and says, nobody comes between you and that plutonium. You understand me? And he's like, fuck yeah, doggy dog.
Yes.
I will fuck you. Dude, yeah, Henry Cavill. I'm Henry Cavill. They get on the plane, and they bounce. And then we get a really cool scene where they're on the plane. They're about to jump into France undetected. We've acquired, they set up the fact that they somehow, I guess because of that phone that Neil's unlocked, required the RFID band, the signature for Lark, but we don't know what Lark looks like. So we're going to take our phones out, and once we get in this, we're going to scan for that frequency. Once we find it, well, that's Lark, or whoever's pretending to be Lark. We'll find in, we're going to go in, fuck him up, take his identity, and go into the VIP room, meet with the White Widow, buy the plutonium core, everything's going to be cool. And then get the fuck out, and no one's going to be none the wiser. And then Walker looks at him, and he has a great line where he goes, people actually fall for this shit? Which is funny.
Yeah.
Because guess who falls for that shit later in this movie, ladies and gentlemen? But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Let's see.
Well, Anthony Hopkins coming out of nowhere.
He goes, how do you intend to do this? He goes, well, I'm going to bump him with this. Boom, and he's got a little spoogie syringe. He's going to one little hit of this, and he's going to look more. He's just going to look like a drunk person at a party. We'll help him into the bathroom, and everything's going to be great.
And by the way,
what could possibly go wrong with this?
A long ass fucking needle.
Really big needle.
I thought it would be just like a little,
it's gotta get a little
pen,
deep,
a little pen tip or something.
Yeah,
but this is like a fucking 3-inch syringe. Like, that's not that unnoticeable.
Yeah.
Right. They have a great back and forth where he says, after that happens, I'll take the RFID. You walk the guy out the door and hand him off to a team. And Walker goes, you're not getting rid of me that easily. And he's like, you fucked up in Berlin, or you fucked up in Belfast, and that's why I'm here. And then Ethan gives it back to him, which is further set up for his character, and said, if you hadn't killed every fucking lead we had on the Apostles, like, we would be much farther along than we are right now.
I know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
I know who you are.
I
read up on your file.
Right. You're a killer. And so, but they don't have time for that. Red light goes off. It's time to jump up. They suit up. He goes, we meet the widow. We meet Lark in 30 minutes. Ethan turns on his oxygen and then turns on his walk. He's like, is your oxygen even on? Do you even know how to fucking do this? Like, we're about to do one of the deadliest jumps ever. Turns on his oxygen, and Walker's like, and he starts giving him like instructions. Then he looks out and sees that there's lightning happening. He goes, we got to abort this shit.
It's not gonna work.
Because it's not going to work. Yeah. And Walker just straight up is like, what, are you a bitch?
Yeah.
And then jumps out.
Fucking pushes him out of the way.
Just gets out of my fucking way. I'm going.
Disconnects his oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
thing.
What a dick move.
Yeah, just like
disconnects Ethan's
move.
What a nerd.
Probably, I mean, one of these days we should rank.
Noogie to the helmet.
We should rank the cool scenes, all the actual practical stunts, because this is up there. Because it has such a cool effect. Because he's putting the oxygen back in as he's walking out, and the camera follows him, and he just walks, and you think there's going to be a cut, and there's no cut. We just fall out of the plane with him
goes.
at like 30,000 feet in the air, where there's no oxygen because we're almost in space at this point. Really, really cool. Of course, the worst thing happens is they're going through this lightning field, and it's really chaotic, and then boom, lightning hits them. And I love the sound design in this because everything goes silent.
Oh, it's so great.
Totally silent.
Silent.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
He wakes up, his shit comes back online. He looks over, Walker is passed out. His oxygen is flapping in the wind. He is Dunsky, right?
What, did they get hit by lightning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they got just hit by, they went through a cloud of lightning, so they just got hit by lightning. Ethan, of course, pulls a move, gets over to him, hooks his oxygen up to Walker's to bring him back. And he's like, dude, you got to wake the fuck up or you're going to die. We get to a point where the thing's like, shoot, like pull. He pulls.
The altitude levels are just constantly being called out, constantly adding to the tension.
He does a cool move where he like flips back around and pulls his chute as he flips off of him, and Walker's chute pops, and we just hope to God that like after he's strapped his oxygen that Walker's going to wake up, otherwise he's going to just fall to the fucking ground. Ethan pulls his chute just in time to get caught on the tip of the tower of this. I don't know where they are.
It's like a conservatory.
And again, filmed the whole movie in IMAX. It looks so goddamn
It's so
good.
cool.
It was prohibitively expensive.
I don't even doubt it.
We're doing that.
Pulls his chute, and he goes, fuck, tumbles down, super in pain, gets up as Walker lands nicely, and then looks over to him, and in the dickest line ever, he goes, hey, you lost your oxygen tank. He's like, looks like you lost your oxygen tank there,
what
huh?
a dick!
Right.
So some facts here for you. This is a long one, but there's a lot of cool shit. Tom Cruise trained for an entire year to perform the Halo high altitude, low opening stunt in this film. The Halo skydiving sequence, a distance of 25,000 feet, traveling speed of 265 to 320 kilometers an hour, was the last sequence filmed during production, but it was the first stunt designed and required a full year of planning out. The crew had only a limited time window of 3 minutes a day during sunset to film a jump. Because of strict air aviation regulations in France, it could only be shot in the Emirates. It took Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill, the skydiving camera operator, and others involved a total of 106 jumps to get 3 possible takes. However, to rehearse the sequence, the crew built a custom oxygen helmet with RAF assistance that can be lit up to see a face, and then also built one of the world's largest wind tunnels for practice. The practice doesn't end there. Cruise and the other persons involved did 5 skydives a day, with 1 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and 1 at dusk. Some of the other cast members turned up to visit, with Simon Pegg saying that he and his co-stars thought multiple times that Cruise was seriously about to die. Quote, it's a daily stress going to work with him because you don't know if you're going to see him tomorrow.
Oh my God. That's awesome, though. And
if you're doing 106 jumps in a year, I mean, you're inviting destiny and fate to intervene.
It's all
They're super safe.
Yeah.
As long, I mean, let's put it this way: they've got multiple people checking out and making sure all the gear is correct. As long as the gear's good, you're good. The only thing that can go wrong is you freak out, which is why they make him do all this shit. Yeah. Because the more jumps, the more adept you are at it.
I don't think anyone makes him do it. I think he immediately is like, let's do it. I'm going to rehearse every day for almost half a year.
No parachutes.
You know, but again, one of the reasons why we love the series is because it really does make a difference.
Visceral.
It really is visceral. It sells the stunt. It's more real than anything you've ever seen. I mean, and that shit goes a long way because guess what? When you have that butthole clenching moment when he walks out of that plane and you go with him. And you're like, oh shit, we were really fucking up there. Like that was insane. Yeah. This is not a set. This is just there's a camera guy, two dudes, and that was it.
Something crazy to think about. There was a camera guy.
Yeah.
Like there was a camera guy with an IMAX camera strapped to his head.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
They're near them.
Was it strapped to his head?
Yes, it was.
Jesus
and then what's
Christ.
crazy about that is they had to do it, and they had to do a whole bunch of special like techniques and invent things for focus because you couldn't pull focus.
Yeah, you can't pull
focus. He had no
focus.
idea. So it would autofocus and find them based on how far he was from them. They put on like these like GPS tractor sensor
cool.
things
That's fucking
on
cool.
each of their suits.
So rad. And the thing is, it like pays off because like this shit looks unreal.
Yeah.
It looks unreal, and it not only it adds to the tension because you know that it's not CG, and it makes you like. I think the stunts could be like less crazy looking than other scenes in movies where there's a lot of CG involved.
Well, you certainly don't
feel
have
it more because you know that it's real.
Ethan getting catapulted out of a car to save Ilsa over a fucking pass and like taking her into the car.
Great moment.
But obviously like silly.
It's dumb. I mean, it's dumb fun compared to fucking cool fun.
Fucking cool fun. Speaking of cool fun, ladies and gentlemen, they go into the party and we see a bunch of people scanning in with his RFID bands, and Walker and Ethan have cell phones that are searching. And man, this party looks fucking dope. It's like a 80s sci-fi dream orgy.
That hallway with like all the mirrors.
But even when they walk in and there's like
there.
just sparse LEDs with like 80s style graphics, like that like sci-fi. It's cool as fuck. I'm like, I want to go to this party. Ethan's hair, by the way, looks on point. Very reminiscent of Fran Mirabella's hair right now. Shout out to Fran.
That's true.
Love that very much. Of course, they find Lark and follow him into the bathroom, and this is where we get
This is it.
just the coolest fucking fight scene in any movie ever.
Got some more facts for you about
Go for
this
it.
fight right here. The bathroom fight was meant to be shot in 4 days, but due to the complexity of the fight, it ended up being shot over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Henry Cavill was offered the role publicly through his Instagram by the director. I just got the job.
That's awesome.
And then Henry Cavill improvised the arm gun reload moment.
Dude,
I love that thing.
Because this fight goes on for so long that at one point Ethan just takes a break for a second and kind of looks at the guy. He's like,
"We're getting I'm old.
We're getting the shit out of us." Yeah. This guy. So they go to stab him obviously, and someone gets in the way, and then they go, and then Ethan as the guy leaves, the guy just fucking knows, and he hands them their asses in this scene. Not only that, but he strangles Ethan at one point with a fucking pipe. Like he rips.
Oh my god.
He rips the pipe out of the wall that goes to the sink and like starts to strangle Ethan with it. It just fucks everyone up.
And it looks so sharp on the
other end. Henry Cavill throwing him through the mirror.
But I love
it. Shit.
Yeah, I love the choreography in this scene obviously because it does show the difference between the scalpel and the hammer. Henry Cavill just takes off his coat at one point and there's just back sweat. He's just got the sweat and he does the shot of the, what do they call it, the arm reloading scene?
Yeah. Well, we got that effect more in the trailer because they had sound effects.
Right. Yeah.
But in here, it's just, you just hear like really nothing. But in the trailer, it was like, shoom, shoom. I was like, that's so cool.
And I think this is the part, of course, where he finally just goes, fuck it, and throws the guy, like, just beats the shit out of the guy.
He hits him with a laptop.
Oh, that's what he does. That's right. The guy's fucking up Ethan. He just goes, whack, and hits him with a laptop. And you're like, oh, that's cool that he had the laptop. But it's not a laptop. It's the thing that makes
printer.
It's the printer that makes the masks. And so they drag the guy into the stall and he's knocked out and they're trying to scan his face. And Ethan's like, what the fuck, dude? Because it looks a little bit like, I'm not going to call you out here, Kev, but a little bit like your phone right now. Just a little bit like your phone screen.
Damn.
It's so far away to fix it. It's all the way in San Jose.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
You didn't get the protection?
No, I didn't get the protection plan.
Yeah. Meanwhile, a bunch of French assholes come in and start fucking with them.
Ethan.
And I can't tell if these guys are homophobic or want to join in the party. But
I think they want to join in on the party.
Is that what it was? Either way,
they're
being dicks. Okay, guys, if I'm doing a three-way in a bathroom, don't fucking interrupt me. But this is my special time.
The subtitles were like, "Come on, the more the merrier," or some shit like that.
Yeah, they were being dicks.
They're drunk at like some crazy party, you know. They're just probably high on drugs.
Yeah.
If I saw people fucking, I'd probably.
They were probably high on.
Yeah, I know you would. I know you would. Either way, that little distraction is all Lark needs. He kind of wakes up and then just in the stall fucks them up. And this guy, I don't know who this actor is, but his ability to like sell this fight is fucking great.
I mean, whoever this guy is, he was in a room with Henry Cavill and fucking Tom Cruise, and he made them look like little bitches.
Yeah. Great fight scene. Super fucking fucked up. They're losing, by the way, so he fucks up. He just fucks up Cavill, knocks him out. They fall down. Look, they see a gun. The guy grabs the gun. He's about to shoot Ethan, and then boom, he gets shot in the face. And who is it? It's Ilsa.
Oh, I love
Ilsa's
her.
there. She's been tracking him. They have a great scene here where they're looking down, and he's like, "Can you still scan the guy?" And he's like, "I can't scan the guy if he doesn't have a fucking face." He just shot him in the face, right? They have a back moment where Ethan's like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
I think this moment is kind of weird because Henry Cavill is somebody who's high up in the CIA, who is an assassin, and he's like this weapon that they always use, and they're all just kind of there looking at the body, and Ilsa and Ethan Hunt have their back and forth, and he's like, sorry, do y'all know each other?
Yeah,
and you would think that Henry Cavill would be like, who the fuck is this woman who just shot our guy? I feel like he wasn't as
I feel like Henry Cavill's character doesn't read briefings and also is like, yeah, that's what happens. Like, shoot someone in the face because that's the fastest way to kill him.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he's like, all right, she handled it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
but I think also knowing who he really is, I think he knows who she is, and it's just like, I'm going to play along with this because I gotta make this plan stick. Does that make sense? They do have a great back and forth where he's like, who sent you? She's like, I can't tell you, but you need to walk away from this. Like, just let you know, walk away.
So do you know Ethan Hunt?
And he's like, I'm not gonna fucking walk away, right?
Also, it was the UK, the British government. It's always the British government.
And she goes, listen, they're great. And Tom Cruise, you forget he's a great actor. He can sell it, right? She goes, you don't understand what you're involved in. He goes, I don't understand what I'm involved in? I don't understand what I'm involved in? What am I involved in? It's a great where he's like, wait, what am I involved in? Because he's moving so fast these days that he's just like, just go, guys. Of course, Walker does the thing where he's like, my name's Walker. And she goes, you're welcome. Like, fuck you. Like, fuck you, dude. Seriously. Also proving they had a great moment where the guys come in and she goes, well, look up, it's not gonna stop bleeding. It was all cool shit. Anyway,
By the way, I don't think anybody in this movie looks as good as Henry Cavill.
He's jacked.
He looks.
I don't love the mustache in this.
I love it. I love the stash. I love his hair. He's just got it fucking dude. Going on.
He looks like a monster, like an unstoppable beast. And when like half his face gets burned off by hot grease, it only makes it more real. You know,
I like that use of the two-facedness of him. Of course, Ethan digs into Lark's pocket and finds the smashed phone, puts it in his pocket, and he goes into the VIP lounge. Who catches up with them? Ilsa. She's like, I'm not letting you go in there by myself.
I'm sorry. Ethan doesn't do that. That's
no,
Walker.
Ethan does.
Really?
Yeah, because that's how he knows Walker is the bad guy. Because when we see that phone later, is it Walker that gives it?
I think it's Walker that
Walker gives it to Sloan.
Yeah, and then we see it later and it's not cracked.
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
was the reveal.
I thought it was Ethan that found that phone, and Walker later gives her a different phone. But I could be wrong. Doesn't matter.
Pretty sure it was Walker that pulls it out.
Bear, look out in chat.
Either way, Ethan goes into the VIP lounge. Ilsa comes with. She's not letting him go in by himself, and neither one of these people are going to quit. She goes, listen, people have been sent here to kill Lark, and if you're posing as Lark, they're going to try to kill you because they don't know the difference. Apparently, no one knows Lark looks like.
Makes sense, aliases and shit, right?
Yeah, all they know is that he's meeting with the White Widow at midnight. If you go through with this, they're going to think it's you. They're going to try to kill you. And he's like, how the hell do you know all this? She's like, I can't tell you, man. I'm shrouded in mystery, and I'm still fucking hot. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And that's where we get the great line where he's like, you should have stayed out of the game. And she goes, you should have come with me. And it's like, at that point, I'd be like this. Let's just go.
Yeah.
You want to go now?
Yeah, fuck
You know what?
Like,
Let's
I
go
just
to
wanna-
fuck you, Henry Cavill.
I just want to run away with you forever.
Now, for a VIP lounge, this does not look like very fun because it is
That's
basically
every VIP lounge.
It's true. It's pretty much
That's
just
the
way.
secret of VIP lounges. They're not actually better than the other stuff.
Let's see, the White Widow's up on stage. It's Vanessa Kirby, and she's giving a speech about this charity that she started in honor of her mother, who is the one and only Max,
Max.
which I thought was cool. And she said Max was something. It was something of a paradox. She had a fascination with paradox, a fascination she passed on to me. She dreamt of a world that no longer needed her talents, which is weird because she made a lot of money off that. This whole thing is confusing to me. Let's just move on. The White Widow sees Hunt, and man, she eye fucks him. Woo, she eye fucks him.
There's a lot of eye fucking, dude.
It was good stuff, though.
Because I
get it.
It really turned me on.
They meet up at the bar, and she says, you can't possibly be John Lark. You're too dashing and good looking. And Ethan cuts to the chase and says, don't let looks deceive you. I'm as ugly as they fucking get. And he grabs her arm. And then her brother Zola, the dipshit, comes over and tries to get tough with Ethan. And Ethan just backs him the fuck down. It was like, get out of here, bro.
And the first time I saw the scene, I thought she was telling Zola, no, this is my brother. I thought she was playing and acting like Ethan was her brother. So I was very confused by that.
Of course, he says, listen, everyone here is here. There's a bunch of people here to kill you. He kind of turns it around. Instead of them, he doesn't want to let her know that they're there to kill him. In reality, they're there to kill you. She's like, who would want to kill me? He's like, the Americans. Pretty much everyone wants to kill you. So I'm the only way out of here. I'm the only person you can trust right now because we're both in danger. And she goes, cool. Also, I've been eye fucking you for like 4 minutes. So let's get it on.
Let's at least get out of this room.
Don't believe me? Look around. And they look around, and literally there's 100 dudes in the room just staring at them. Like, we're tough guys, are about ready to fuck you up. And I'm like, okay. Hey, mommy. Hey, mama.
People calling her out.
So, of course, they walk out, and this is a cool fight scene where he walks out, and he starts to subtly take people out, and then it just all hell breaks loose.
There's no more subtlety.
There's no subtlety. But then proving her worth and proving that she's not just another damsel in distress. At one point, she takes out an all-white butterfly knife and just stabs a dude in the fucking heart.
And then just does the flip. I'm like, that was cool as hell.
Just right in the heart with a dude, and then fucking stabs another dude, and then Ilsa shoots a guy, and then Walker shoots a guy, and then they all bounce.
And Tom Cruise is like, I'm hard as a fucking rock right now.
I'd be diamond in a fucking ice storm right there if I were him. Let's see.
Diamond in an ice storm.
They bounce. They go back to this dope palace where there's lots of scary dudes there with an arsenal of weapons and tactical gear.
They were scary.
They're really scary.
They all looked like San Francisco bartenders.
They really do.
They
but
all
not,
they had the weird scary masks that are just like
all
the eye
tactical
holes.
gear.
I was telling you, I'm like,
it's just
there's
like-
nothing in the world scarier than those masks.
Yep.
Anytime you see someone coming, I'm like, you could be a good guy, you ain't no
Like in
good
The
guy.
Purge or
Or fucking
PUBG.
Fate of the Furious. Vin Diesel wearing that shit. I'm like,
it's terrifying.
you're scary, bro.
They're playing at something.
They got all this tactical gear, and Zola tells them about their plan to extract an asset. They don't know the dude's name, but they got to get this guy out, and Ethan realizes who they're talking about. They're talking about Solomon Lang, and he tells them, hey, that dude's a rogue MI6 operative turned terrorist who put together a network of operatives. We get a lot of exposition here called the Syndicate. We see Walker. When he says the Syndicate, it's important. They have a great cut where he talks about the apostles of the Syndicate, but as he's talking about it, we just subtly cut over to Walker which is nice, like visual foreshadowing for what's going to happen. Very good technique. Walker tells them, since the American operative captured Lang, he's been bouncing around from intelligence agency to intelligence agency. And the White Walker goes, listen, I've been lying to you guys. I'm just a broker. The real payment for these nukes, these plutonium cores.
I think you keep calling her White Walker.
Oh, what did I call it? Oh, White Widow, excuse me. She's the White Walker from now on. I'm stuck in Game of Thrones land. They give them 1 plutonium core and say, here's 1 core.
Down payment.
If you want the other 2, you got to break Lane out. That's the payment. They want Lane. And Ethan's like, fuck my life. I should have put a bullet in this guy's head a long time ago. Again, proving once you get the bad guy, just put a bullet in his head.
It, man.
Don't put him in a box.
Don't put him in a box. Okay. Let's see. They'll deliver 2 more plutonium cores in 48 hours, and then they start talking about the plan. And I love how this is cut because you think, oh, we're going into the plan, but it's not. We see again, backing up the theme, what Ethan would have to become if he plays by other people's rules. And what he'd have to become is there's no fucking way he's going to get out of this without selling it, without having to probably kill an innocent life. And he doesn't want to do that. Yeah. But it's a cool moment with great music in the background where like we see it all playing out and we see him. And you can tell it's Tom Cruise because he's like a little smaller than everyone.
He's a little dude.
And then, of course, he shoots a cop and then has to put a bullet in the guy's head or else he's going to blow his cover. And it's really, really sad, right?
I will say I liked that. I do not like the use of the dream scenes that Tom Cruise has in this movie because they happen just.
Was there more than one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was 2 in the beginning, obviously. Which
there's another one
fine
after they break Lane out, but I like it because he comes out of that, and who's looking at him is Lane. Lane's just staring at him like, I know you're fucking. I'm giving you nightmares. I'm working. This is my master plan.
Yeah,
I like him. I don't.
I just thought it was like unnecessary.
I think it brings an extra dimension in there that I'm not going to hate. We cut back to the White Widow's house. She's like, do you have a problem with that? And he goes, I'm John Lark. I murdered fucking women and children with smallpox. I have no line.
Which was dope as hell.
Right? So it's an intense moment. And then the White Widow goes, all right, well, everyone sleep well. And again, I
love this because I might be jumping a little bit ahead here when there was the conversation between Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise where he was just like, is it true that he did this? Yes. Is it true that he did that? Yes. Is it true? Stop asking it. Yes, it's true. I love
if
that.
It makes your skin crawl. Yeah. It's true.
That's great. But what I love about this scene, that scene, all of it together is that this is a true sequel to the last movie. And sure, the smallpox thing was introduced here, but that's in addition to everything that we knew last movie that Solomon Lane has been, manipulating a whole bunch of these crazy events happening. So
we cut to a scene where Sloane meets up with Walker. And Paris, every shot of Paris in this looks fucking amazing.
Paris is dope.
And she gives him the what for. She goes, listen, I wanted Lark to break him out so that we could scoop all of them up at the same time. So we could take Lark off the streets, the whole syndicate, all the stuff you fucked up. And then that's when Walker goes, gives her the phone that's not crushed. And you go, oh, Walker's the bad guy, which I like. Kind of like, get out of the way. We kind of expected him anyway, but let's just call it.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, this movie did not do a good job ever making me believe he was good.
I feel like the trailer did a disservice to the movie, which everyone saw a billion times.
Yeah, because you saw him shooting at Ethan at the end of the trailer. You're like, all right, he's a bad guy.
In the trailer is very much set up like, oh, this is a bad guy.
All I remember from the trailer was the so it's like, I didn't have that going into this.
I remember the scene of him, being out at the helicopter. Like, this was the one movie where, like, I remembered the trailer. So it was like the one where I was like, had all these like kind of
flashes.
Flashes of like what I knew was going to happen. Yeah. And I feel like that really bumped me out for a lot of this movie.
But the cool thing about this plan is, and this is a great scene because he sets it up. He sets up Ethan is Lark, right? And she's like, she's like, listen, why would Lark wouldn't go to this meeting? He would hire one of his cronies to go in his place as Lark, right? He wouldn't risk exposing himself as that. But what better way to convince the Americans, the CIA, that you're still playing for their team while also being like a bad guy than to kill the guy, one of your own cronies, and assume your own alias, which is cool. And we get a line later where Alec Baldwin has that great when they confront him and he accuses him of being Lark, and he's like, normally when people say you're your own worst enemy, they're embellishing that, but you literally are your own worst enemy, which I thought was really cool. So he convinces her that Ethan might not be trustworthy and might in fact be Lark and have assumed that, and they move on from there. And he's now he's free to operate at will with the full support of the United States government, and he can be an agent. And she goes, why? And he goes, well, listen, how many times has the government fucked him over? And at this point, at least 6.
Yeah. Yep. It's so funny to have this conversation where I'm just like, God, this is a little too meta for me.
She goes, can you prove it? Walker gives her the phone. They pulled from Lark's body, but it's not completely, it's uncracked. So we figure out at that point Walker's the real Lark. And he says, here's all the proof you need. I'm guessing there's proof on here because he knows, because he's put it all on there. We cut over to the helicopter and we see Lane We finally see Solomon Lane getting pulled out of prison. They put him in this, like he's in this helicopter. He's flying over, and then we're getting cuts of them. They put him in a van. As they put him in the van, this is where we get that conversation where Ethan and Walker are in the truck waiting to ambush this cavalcade of police officers, and we get that great part where he's like,
use the word, Nick.
"Thank you," and we get this, we get that moment where he's like, "Has he done this? Has he done this?" He's like, "Listen, let me stop it right there. If he's major, if it makes your skin crawl, he's responsible for it." Now, I want to point out one little cool thing in here, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but he says, "Is it true that he took down an entire passenger plane to kill one person?" Mm-hmm. Which was how, if you remember, Mission Impossible 2 starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're like,
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if he was responsible
That
for
was 100%.
Yeah.
On
so all
purpose.
those things that he was supposed to be responsible for are things that I think have actually happened in the Mission Impossible universe.
That's why Solomon Lane is fantastic.
Right.
I hope they don't kill him.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to kill him.
And also, by the way, this whole sequence, the best music I think in the whole franchise is just the.
Well, if you notice, and that's what I love about this, like the theme itself, even when they go into the opening credits and all that stuff, is very different. It's not fun. It's ominous. It's like it's militant. It's like this is a different tone we're going for here. This is when shit has consequences, and I really like that about the movie.
But like, yeah, that's the whole theme of this movie. Like when we get later that Solomon Lane speech where he's like, "This is the fallout of all your good intentions."
He said the word.
Yeah,
he said the name.
it's really cool. But it's, or was that in the opening?
Did we get an opening scene? Did we get an opening credit scene? We did get an opening credit sequence, right?
Yeah.
We did.
It was very burny. A lot of stuff was burny.
Oh, right.
But did he
really
say
fucked
that in the first speech?
I think
the dream?
the
No,
title
not in the
sequence
dream.
happens right after they get the info from the guy that they fake. The
the
hospital.
walls fall down.
Yeah,
The walls
yeah,
come
yeah,
down, and then that's right. When we get the Fallout logo, I put a note in here that said it was dope because it was like burning.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a nuclear blast had gone off, and now I just skipped into my notes. Give me 1 second. Let's
I
see.
just thought that it was like halftime.
Yeah.
It took like longer to get to the notes. It's so good.
Yeah, I did note there was a cool musical theme here. Cool. And then we get the plan, right? All the guys are, Ethan walks out and puts a little camera there. You see him, he comes back, and everyone's ready. There's guys in the back of his truck. There's the dipshit brother in the truck down the road. They're ready. Everyone's ready. Cool. The van starts to go, and Ethan just guns it.
I love
just
it.
fuck it, guns it,
Dude,
knocks
just
them.
falling out of the
Just
back
all
of
the
the
guys in
truck.
the back are like, we got the shit end of this stick. Slams the armored truck that's carrying Lang into the ocean, or into the river rather.
Yeah.
Backs up. All these guys are getting fucked up, and just hauls ass
Hall's ass.
as they're and just ping pongs these guys back and forth. And then at one point, the guys just all comically
So
fall
good.
out of the back of the truck as they
To
skyrocket down.
immediately get
Cops.
We get, of course, this one of the coolest scenes that was from the trailer where you see Lang in the straitjacket, but it's shot normal, but since the truck's on its side, it looks like the water's coming from the side and engulfs him, and he goes, he takes a deep breath as the water overtakes him. It's
so
really cool.
fucking tight. That whole scene was beautiful. I love that he's such a good bad guy because every action he takes, everything he does feels villainous. Even the way he did the breath, I'm like,
Well, yeah,
oh,
'cause
you're
there's-
really smart and you know how to handle the situation. You're just evil.
Yeah, you know someone's coming for you, so you just need to take that breath.
Yeah.
Of course, that person that comes from is Benji. Breaks into the truck, cuts him, like puts a little, like a bag with a breathing apparatus over it, but it's still like one of those black masks over his face. Makes sure he can breathe, and cuts him out. And then we get the shot of him popping out down the river and handing him to Luther, who pulls him onto a little Zeppelin, or is that what they're called? Little speedboat.
No.
What do they call those things?
I don't know, but isn't Zeppelin like
Zeppelins
a
are
blimp?
blimps.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just love how they're just casually, for two friends on a boat,
Just hanging out.
just driving.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
way.
yeah.
to the cops.
But they're not even covering him.
No.
He's just laying in
Well,
the
he's
front.
like in the
yeah.
front. He's kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, he's laying
slumpy.
down, but
Meanwhile, the cops have caught up with Ethan, and he's tearing through the streets, and then tears down an alleyway, and then just
It just gets tighter
wedges
and
this
tighter.
tighter, and then just wedges the truck in, and you're like, oh shit, they're fucked, but it's not. It's part of the plan. They knock out the front windshield. All the cops are like, what the hell's going on? They go to get on there. That's right, BMW motorcycles, because BMW once again sponsored this whole movie.
Just the good guys.
Just the good guys. It's true, because Rebecca Ferguson's motorcycle is a Triumph, which I noticed, which is cool, and we don't know if she's good or bad in this yet. Of course, Ethan's motorcycle doesn't start, which if I were BMW, I'd be like, it should start every
Yeah.
time. That's a dope motorcycle.
But was that on accident or on purpose?
It was on
I always wondered that. No, but I
Yeah.
always wondered, like, did Walker fuck with the bike?
Because
I
well,
don't know.
no. Here's the thing.
I mean, did he fuck
Like,
with a bike to get away from Walker?
Yeah, that's what I think happens because he very much is like, hey, I need an extraction at this point, and that all seemed planned out. Like later when he crashes the motorcycle, which is a crazy scene. He pulls the knife out and then runs and jumps into the hedges.
Yeah, and knows like immediately like where
to cut the tarp that's there and drops into their boat.
But he radios in right now and says, I need, he's like, change of plan, I'm blown, I need extraction. And so they have a secondary extraction point. So you figure that was always part of the plan that Walker would know about, which is if we're blown here, extraction point B, C, D, whatever, we have
options,
contingencies just in case. Of course,
do you think they have like a big Google Doc folder with all of this stuff just written out?
No, I think they're much better at remembering things than I am.
They have a Slack. No one checks it though.
And so then that's where we get another chase scene where the cops are chasing him. He's on the bike. He's whispering through the traffic. And it's just, there's not a lot that happens here choreography wise.
The roundabout.
It does do the little roundabout, but it's mostly just about watching him tear through the streets of Paris on this bike. And it's cool.
And it's cool because it feels practical and real. And it's like, it reminds me of fun moments in video games. And I feel like that's always a good thing for action scenes in movies.
It reminded me of Uncharted 4.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's like, oh, you really accomplished this feeling of like I'm doing something even though I'm just watching Tom Cruise on a bike.
Of course, he takes his eye off the road for 1 second, looks back, and as he looks forward, he misses the fact that there's a car in front of him. Car fucking slams him. He goes over the hood, and it's cool because I recognized this a little bit the first time. The second time, it's much more subtle than I gave it credit for. As he pops up, he just has the knife in his hand. Like he just kind of has it here. It's not a big, let's see him take the knife out. He just kind of has it ready.
I thought there was a moment where he pulls it out.
But it's not camera on the knife. Like it's just, I got a knife. And you're like, oh, what's he going to do with his knife? And then he kind of runs over the bush and just limp dick like falls into it. And then all the cops come and we get a great shot where it's just beautifully filmed because you don't know what the fuck's going on. You think he's all going to be there and there's just a little hole in this net. And then we get a similar shot to Mission Impossible 3 where they're in the boat, but it's not a triumph. We just get a very dull, like quiet drum. Yeah, like a little. Cool, this mission ain't over yet. We're in the thick of it, and no one's talking, and it's just like we got to get this shit done.
We did it. We nailed it.
The first moment I saw him pull out the knife, I immediately thought like, oh, that's his only defense.
Yeah, I was like, what's gonna happen? It's not a good weapon to have. But it is one of those things where it's like Ethan is the most like prepared guy. Like. He crashed was already thinking of the next step.
Yeah.
You know? Same with Solomon Lane. We see you were talking about it earlier about the like breathing, but like there's a little bit of build up before where he's like hyper, like trying to like, put more oxygen in his blood because he understands the next step. So cool.
Love it. Of course, they bring Lane up into this little tiny garage, and someone makes the mistake of opening the door before they get laying in. Who should be standing out there? A female police officer who is like, "What the fucking literal fuck are you guys doing?"
And it's such a good scene because it's like, as an audience member, you're like, "Fuck, what are they gonna do?"
No, they're made. This is the little boy seeing the train sequence in Breaking Bad. Like this is that moment you're like, "Oh no! Like what do we do with this innocent human being that?" needs to be nowhere near us right now. And that doesn't know what's happening.
And once again, Ethan is confronted with the choice. Do I make the hard choice here? Do I kill this innocent cop to save my team, like for the greater good, or what? And he can't do it. He just goes, walk away. Please. In French, she just goes, just walk away. And she pulls a gun and she's like, he's like, guys, get in the car. And they start to get in the car and she's like, stop.
You see Walker pull out the gun. I thought Walker was going to pull the meth Damon Barrett.
Yeah.
I thought Walker was just going to fuck this.
I didn't realize that, but thinking back, I think it's Walker who also opens the garage early.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because he was standing on that side.
Yeah, I don't know if it was intentionally or not, but whoever did, they probably get the body in the...
Get the dude in the black bag in the car,
Either way, Saved by the Bell, one of Zola's team, which is White Widow's brother. They come and they shoot the cop. She's not dead yet. That's the important thing. They shoot her and they look over and they're like, we got to finish the job because we already shot this cop. And Ethan has to make a choice. And you know what? He's like, fuck this.
That choice is easy.
Just quick draws and ices these motherfuckers. Just ices all four of them at the same time. Pa, 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 pa. Little John Wick style.
Hell yeah.
It's dope, right?
I love that you wink at Tim, the only person who hasn't seen John Wick.
I know what it means.
It's tactical, baby. Tactical.
But you do get that moment, though, where like they're like, oh, Zola's going to want to talk to you. And then they're like, go kill her. And like, there's a little buildup of the dude going about to shoot this girl in the face, and then everyone.
Tom Cruise
dead.
Just quick draws, quick draws in this guy and takes all of them out before they know what's going on.
And she totally wanted to fuck Tom Cruise.
There was a moment where it was like,
I think she was trying not to shit her pants from getting shot in the stomach.
Like I'm in a lot of pain.
Ew, Andy, that's gross.
That's what she was doing.
Like, too far, dude.
Like she was shot, but she was just like.
No,
like she wanted it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Either way, he walks over and pulls up her radio and was like, radio it in, like officer down, whatever. need assistance, and he's like kind of says, I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about this.
But
Ethan, not now, Ethan.
But like, if you take credit for this, you're probably gonna go like get lieutenant or whatever. Anyway, they get in the car in a cool little like vintage BMW, which I thought was dope. Nice little touch. And they have a great moment where he goes to Benji. I'm Walker, by the way, and Benji goes, "Was this little car your idea?"
Yeah,
because he's just this gigantic gorilla in this tiny little car.
The second time that he introduces himself and
nobody gives a fuck.
No one cares.
Yeah. It's very much reminiscent of like I'm Star-Lord. Who? Yeah. Star-Lord. I like that. And then, of course, Ilsa catches up with him finally, sees all the bodies, and realizes she's got to go on the run. Goes up, catches them on a bridge, parks her Triumph motorcycle there, takes out her sniper rifle, and starts shooting at Lang. Ethan has a cool juke move where he like pulls underneath and goes, "Get out!" And it's just him and Lang in the car, and everyone else scatters, and he takes it. This is where we get a lot of cool car choreography, where he does he pulls the e-brake and spins off the fucking the staircase, which is really, really cool. And then she catches up with him, and just a brutal scene where she gets off her bike and like looks at it, like points the gun at him, and then kind of pulls it down for a second. Ethan's like, "Sorry," and guns it.
Yeah.
And she goes not only over the hood, but over the whole fucking, over the entire car. Lands, and he takes off, and then she gets up and limps away as the cops come to get her.
Something I really loved about this whole sequence, from the Solomon being in the water to being captured, getting in the chase and all that stuff, is he had the mask on the whole time. And I was really concerned that they were going to pull the mask off and it wasn't going to be him and they're going to do some bullshit. They didn't. And I was like, oh man, you guys, they got so good about when to use the mask bullshit and when not to do it 6 movies in.
I like that they pull off the burlap sack that they're covering because she had shot him and possibly had killed him. Yeah. But no, it's just he gets a little flesh wound. And then
can't hear that well.
We also get the moment where he like, "Is that Ilsa?"
No, he goes, that was Ilsa.
Yeah. I was like, shut up, dude.
Goes, very interesting.
Yeah.
I was just fucking with Ethan the whole time. Because remember, when he sees Ethan the first time, he's like, "It's good to see you again."
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
But and that's also to be like, oh, he's fucking planning. Like, this is part of his plan.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it just goes back to that moment with him and Walker in the car where Walker's like, he's going to recognize you. Like, what's he gonna do when he blows your cover? We'll figure that out. We'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Oh my god! Yeah, we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, that's a good.
Best line in the franchise.
Burn the bridge.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. So of course they take him back to yet another a lot of warehouses in this.
Wait, real quick, one more thing. I also like that we get another scene where she's just standing there next to her motorcycle, kind of like we did when they first met, and he just fucking hits her.
It's beautiful.
So they take Lang back to a warehouse where he's got a tracker in his face. But they figured out that he had a tracker, by the way, on the boat, and they put a little nicotine patch on it, which I thought was cool to like kill the signal from going out. Bring him back to this warehouse, and Luther has to figure out how to get the tracker out of his neck, which is like a weird technology that I guess sucks the thing out.
Yeah.
But then also we learn later shoots another one of their thing in. You figure they could have just retuned it. Doesn't matter.
Well, I doubt they could change it because then whoever put the tracker in initially would know where he is.
Probably.
And that's what they were trying to.
Solid call. Either way here, as he's doing that, we're hearing cops kind of closing on him. We get a great back and forth with Ethan where he goes, "You should have killed me, Ethan. The end you always feared is coming. The fallout of all of your good intentions."
Boom.
Boom.
You should have killed me, Ethan.
And Ethan is like trying to be tough, but he kind of knows. He's like, this guy is not one to fuck around, and I'm kind of fucked here. Either way, as the cops are about to call, they pull the thing out, put the little tracker in a drone, which I thought was cool, and it just self flies out.
And you hear the sirens.
All the sirens move.
Very, very cool. Obviously, the cops put the tracker in him. Get him up. You're mine now, but Ethan tries to act tough, but it's not going to be there. Let's see. Ethan meets up with the White Widow, and she's like, "What the fuck happened?" He goes, "Listen, your brother's plan sucked donkey dick. If he's a dipshit, I don't trust him. I had to improvise. If his plan, he would have killed everyone. Everyone would have got caught. Everyone would have died. It wouldn't have worked." And she goes, "Listen, all right, cool. I don't give a shit. But let's talk about this girl Ilsa. Like, what's your deal?
What's up?
What's up with her? She killed a bunch of my dudes. I don't like that. So guess what? My price just went up. You're going to bring her to me. Otherwise, you don't meet the courier at all, and the plutonium goes to the highest bidder." And he goes, "You know what? Not a problem. She's yours. I don't give a fuck." But he does give a fuck. Let's see. The White Widow steals just an aggressive kiss. Just like your mind, dude.
I like how you put that.
Just aggressive, right? She goes, "Go to London, follow the instructions." And then, of course, Ilsa just is kind of there, kind of knows where he is all the time, sees this whole thing happen, is not shaken. She follows Hunt, and they have a cool little scene here where everything's kind of shot with a lot of symmetry, which I like. We're seeing a lot of profiles. And they have a back and forth where she goes, "Listen," she tells him the same thing. "You need to walk away." He tells her, "You need to walk away in this because this person's going to kill you." So it's like a reversal of what she said to him when they originally get there. She goes, "I can't do that." And then he kind of just figures out, "Oh, you were here to protect Lark." you needed him to break Lane out because you have to kill Lane. That's the whole thing. It divines this a little bit, but he's smart, and we just go with it because we were tired of getting a lot of plot.
Divines it.
He just kind of figures it out, right?
I think it makes sense from her being on the bridge, only taking shots at Lane.
Right,
you know?
he figured it out.
Yeah.
And she goes, listen, too many countries want a piece of Lang, and he knows a lot about it. He knows way too much about British intelligence. MI6 can't leave him alive. We got to kill him.
It sucks that after 2 years, MI6 is still not cool with her. Where it's like, damn, she was undercover
but also,
for 2 years.
It sucks that they're still, no one's cool with Ethan, but don't trust governments.
Right. And he goes, listen, but you were out, you were free. And she goes, we were never really free. You know, this is how I come home. This is how I get back in because I can't be free. I have to just work for MI6, and this is how they get me back in. You would think at this point, though, that like one small flaw is if other organizations have had Lang for 6 fucking years, or 2 years rather, they would have milked him for all the information that it's worth. It's like they always say, like, if you've had someone in captivity for 2 years, anything they know is useless now because the shit is either outdated, or people have figured out that guy's burned and they're just going to move on.
You got to imagine he's been still sending out messages to the apostles, making things happen.
Well, obviously he has, right? Because he's been coordinating with August Walker.
August Walker.
She goes, I'm going to get to him one way or the other, so please don't make me go through you. And Ethan has, and then he's like, I'm not going to, but stop. And then they part ways. And then, of course, this is where we get that other dream sequence of Julia, where it's Julia and Lang. He's there, and then when Ethan wakes up, who's looking at him? Lane's just staring at him like, what's up, dog?
It's like the Happy Gilmore dream sequences.
Exactly like that. It's a lot like that. Where there's pictures and later husband.
Yeah, the blonde girl is like making out with Shooter McGavin.
He gets a call from the White Widow. Are you ready to meet the courier? Ilsa is tracking that call because she's just sitting maybe like 5 feet away from her. Ilsa, the only thing I don't like about this is that Ilsa just seems to know where everyone is.
Yeah.
And it's not really plausible, but it doesn't matter. She's good at tracking people. She's good at her job. They take Solomon to another spooky underground bunker where they find none other than Alec Baldwin. Secretary Hunley is there. He wants to know what the hell is happening. They sedate Lane. Shit, what the hell did I just do? I lost it. Sorry, one sec, guys. I have to explain it. Let's see. They sedate Lane and lock him into a cell with a camera on him. Very important point. After explaining everything to Hunley, they tell him that they're going to just meet the courier and hand over Lane, but it's really going to be Benji. This is to Benji's surprise. He's like, "What? I don't like this. People are trying to kill this motherfucker. Ilsa's going to kill me instead."
Why does it have to be me? And then him and Luther have that great back and forth. Luther's like, "Look at me, look at you."
Why can't it be Luther? He's like, "Come on, dude." Of course. Benji's not excited. Why do I have to be Lane? He goes, that's not our biggest problem. Ilsa's trying to kill Lane, and Benji's like, now she's trying to kill me. The great back and forth here. Hunley tells them that the meeting is a trap. The White Widow has been working for the CIA the entire time. Bargaining for immunity is her stock and trade. She's going to hand over everyone in exchange for her freedom. The Apostles, John Lark, the Plutonium, everyone, because it's going to buy her a lot of goodwill with the Americans, basically Sloan. And then he goes, if she knew it was a trap, if she knew this was a trap, like, why would she be doing all this stuff? Because everyone, I guess, I don't know. This is where we start getting Hunley accusing Ethan of being Lark, And he's like, I got to hand it to you, Ethan. Normally when people refer to you as your own worst enemy, it's just a figure of speech. Alec Baldwin's
he throws down
that
that dossier with like all the information that's been fed to Sloan and everything.
But this is him like playing, acting for Lark.
Yeah,
right?
of course. To try to ensnarl Walker. Of course, the dossier is a trap. This is what Ethan fires back. He's like, this whole thing's a trap. This is what Lane wants. There are still 2 cores in the wind, and he goes, but you lost them, right? And Hunley goes, I've been given a choice to protect you or the IMF, and guess what? I'm bringing you in. And then Ethan goes, if I refuse, and then he goes, what do you think he's here for? It's a great scene where he points. He's like, what do you think he's here for? He's a fucking assassin. Like, you refuse, he's gonna kill you. They look over, and Walker goes, this is the job, no hard feelings. And it was a cool little moment.
That was a great moment.
This mission is terminated. And Ethan goes, nope, and just tranks Hunley. Just as really. Hopefully very good with all this anesthesia because he could kill people with all this tricks. Just putting it out there. He goes, we have 50 minutes before the meeting. You in or you out? Walker's in. And Benji needs to get ready. So they send Benji over to get ready to scan Lane's face, make up Benji, another cool shot, another cool dolly shot where they put the mask on him and then all of a sudden he becomes Lane, which I thought was just very well done in this. They don't really call a lot of attention to it, but it's done and it's cool.
I mean, I think they did. I think that there was a lot of attention where it stood on that shot for long enough for you to know something was up.
Yep.
Where I was like, are they flipping somebody? But it's like, it's not clear that they did. So that's where when the reveal happens, it's really good.
Yeah.
So the first time watching it, I had no clue. Like, it totally bamboozled me.
It's fucking great. They take him out. They go, Walker, you got to stay here and watch Lang. Walker's like, I'm on it. They bounce. And Walker immediately starts gathering his shit, putting weapons on him, walks over to Lane, and he's like, wakes him up with the stuff, and goes, Lane goes, call the apostles, warn me. He goes, I have no way of contacting them. Breaks character. He's like, let's go. No, I'm staying here. I'm not done with Ethan yet. And they start to argue, and it's revealed that Walker wrote that manifesto. He's like, because he quotes the manifesto, and Walker goes, when I wrote those fucking lines, I didn't mean it was going to be some personal vendetta between you and Ethan. Like, this pissing contest needs to stop. I'm getting you the fuck out of here right now, right?
What I don't understand, though, is how did they prevent the original Lane from saying anything?
I wonder if he was doped up still.
They probably doped him up. I don't know.
The real Lane, they just walked him out, and he was just standing there, and he could have been like, "Hey, fucking."
Either way,
how would
Walker.
he sound though?
He's like, "The real me is right here."
No, they're not. You didn't get it right that time.
Either way,
The real me.
Ethan.
Walker gets pissed, and he's like, I'm fucking tired of all these games. Sloan was right? She's like, the IMF is Halloween. It's nothing but a bunch of grown men wearing masks, and that's when he realizes it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I got played.
And it looks, and there's a great moment where, and to the actor's credit, the guy that plays Solomon Lane's gives it the Benji look. And it's like, what's going on?
It's so good.
This is really, really good. Walker
This was one of those moments.
Did it get
where
you?
I had to pause, put the controller down, and just be like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is so fuck. It was like, let's go, boys moment.
Because you realize everything Alec Baldwin did, everything in that scene was all just a fucking red herring to get this. It's just a clever ruse. Baldwin's it. Great moment. Walks over, rips the mask off, and is like, motherfucker. And then who is not sedated?
Chickty motherfucker.
Hunley, right behind him, right?
Yeah.
Pulls a gun on him, right? Walker, of course, being the fucking assassin badass he is, gets the gun out of Hunley's hands, looks at it and starts pulling the trigger. He's like, oh, no bullets in that one, huh? Bet there's bullets in this one. You were doing so well up until that point. Just fucking with him.
Yeah.
Which I personally wouldn't have done, knowing what this guy's capable of, but yeah, whatever. You figure Alec Baldwin's character has seen some shit.
What if he just grabbed the gun and then just broke his arm in eight pieces?
Not good. Not good. But either way, they lead Walker out, and Ethan's there with Luther and the real Lane. And Walker tries to pass it off like, I'm just playing the character. I'm playing along. I'm still on the hunt for this thing. Ethan still could be the bad guy, and but Hunley goes like, where do we get all this information from? And Walker's like, I don't know where Sloan got all this information from. Guess what? Sloan's on the phone. And she goes, I got it from you, motherfucker. You are the bad guy.
Great service in that.
Yeah.
Great service. Well,
Yeah, it is satellites,
sure.
direct links. It's spy world. It's different.
Right. Meanwhile,
They have
Sloan's like, listen, I'm tired of all this shit. I'm bringing all of you fuckers in. The lights go out. Tactical team comes in. She's like, I don't trust anyone in this thing to get this
dumb.
plutonium. I'm bringing all you in. We're going to sort it out in Washington. Somehow Ilsa pops in at this point too, because she's just a wraith that knows where everything is. I like this one point though, where Ethan goes, listen, all the threats are in this room. So if we just contain this, we'll be good. We've got it handled. And he goes, do you? Like he goes, oh, we have, he's like, he says something where he's like, he goes, basically I got fucking stupid call. The only real threats are in this room, and we have them. So we've got it on a lock. If we can just control this, we're good. And Walker looks at him and he goes, do you? Because all this team is his team, right? You figure. And if it's his team, guess who they are?
Apostles.
Yeah.
I just didn't like this because I just
didn't
felt like
it
was like
too extra bamboozle.
Too much. Yeah, it's like we just had this bamboozle moment that was great. This just kind of feels like here's a bunch of people we don't know. Oh, they're people we actually don't. Oh, they're your people.
It's very confusing, and this is my least favorite part of the movie as well, because Ilsa's there, everyone's there. There's no good blocking as to who's where. We don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's dark as hell.
It's dark as fuck. There's a lot of firing back and forth, but it's not that big of a space. So you figure people would have.
Yeah, nobody's getting shot.
Nobody's getting shot.
Well, except for.
Except Hunley sees that Walker's got a beat on Ethan and goes after him and then gets stabbed, unfortunately. Again, proving like Walker's a badass, and Hunley unfortunately gets stabbed. But Walker makes it out of the way.
More like stabber.
Damn. As Lane, I guess, is leaving, I think Luther hits him with the tracker, like turns his tracker on. And then Ethan goes to run after Walker.
And does he catch him? We'll have to find out in just a second, because this episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, options, and cryptos all commission free, while other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade. Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy to understand charts and market market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections such as 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood's giving listeners of Kind of Funny Morning shows a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at morningshow.robinhood.com. That's morningshow.robinhood.com. Exactly. And also shout out to HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so you can just cook, eat, and enjoy. Gia's been doing this a lot. I've been loving it. It's real simple. She's been doing all the cooking, but it's really easy for her. She's been saying the instructions are great. She has this binder filled with all the recipes. She loves keeping all of them. HelloFresh makes conquering the kitchen a reality with deliciously simple recipes. They do all the meal planning, shopping, and prepping so you can just focus on a healthier you and a happier family. Fresh pre-measured ingredients and easy-to-follow 6-step pictured recipe cards are delivered to your door each week in a special insulated box. It's crazy. You just get this box. It's like this big. It has a bunch of bags in it, little like Ziploc bags. You just put them in the fridge, and when you look at the instructions, it's like Legos. Oh. It's just like Legos, but you get to eat it at the end.
You can eat Legos
you get to 3 plans to choose from. Classic, veggie, and family with the option to switch between for when your tastes change. Simple, enjoyable, easy, delicious. Gia's been loving HelloFresh. I loved the roasted pork tenderloin that she made, and also the sirloin carne asada tacos. Or divine, ladies and gentlemen.
Do they have like a teriyaki option?
And it's always changing. It's always changing. You got to look. You got to see what's going on. For $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/morning80 and enter code morning80. It's like receiving 8 meals free. Again, for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/morning80 and enter code morning80. Nick, back to the plot.
As he's about to run out, Luther stops him and turns on Ethan's tracker so they can figure out where he is, which I thought was a cool little thing. He turns on Ethan. He shoots Ethan with a tracker.
Right. That was really cool.
He's like, go get that son of a bitch. So Ethan runs out and, of course, runs right into a bunch of dudes who are either apostles or CIA. It doesn't matter. They're all bad guys. They're chasing after him. He runs into some sort of cathedral and just that biggest funeral you've ever seen. And I love this scene because he stops and he's like,
I'm so sorry.
So sorry. Goes one way, this guy's coming down, goes the other way, guys, I'm really sorry about this guy.
Yeah. Take a right, Ethan. And he's like, I can't take a right here.
No, but before we get that, he goes, why is he running in circles? And then it cuts and he's running up a spiral staircase up to the top, jumps, and then gets to the top of the building, and guess what we get? That's right, we had to wait an hour and a half, but we finally got it. Ethan is running. Just
so fast,
full out on the top of this building.
His arms move at such a speed,
and at that point,
so scary.
All the guys behind him are like, we can't catch up to him.
Yeah.
It's like Tokyo Drift. If they're going too fast, we don't even try.
Yeah.
Start jumping from building to building, and we get this awesome jump scene. We get, of course, the scene in this when Ethan does jump. Finally, and he breaks. This is the scene where he breaks his foot and limps away, which is like, but a great stunt. And a great stunt. Not only that, because I was watching for this one. I was waiting for it. It starts so much farther back than the jump. Normally, we would get a cut where you just see him jump. They track him for
a long
200 feet before he does this jump. And it's so good.
Yeah, the camera movement's great, too.
Oh, it's so great.
We got Superman in this movie, but no. It's Tom Cruise leaping tall buildings in a single
It's
bound.
great.
Whoa, all right.
And this is where we go. Benji tells him to turn right.
Submit that one.
Benji's like, you got to turn right. Oh, sorry, left. The screen lock was on. And then Ethan gets into the building and just disrupts these people's day. This is the most action these tech nerds have seen in their entire life. They're all looking at him, and he goes, "You gotta go left right now." And he goes, "Got it." Looks over, grabs the chair, throws it out the window.
But I love how the lady gets up, like, "Yeah, you can use that. You can use my chair."
Yeah. Like, what's going on here? He's like, "Sorry, everyone." Just really apologetic across the board. And then Benji's like, "What are you waiting for?" And he goes, I'm jumping out of a window. And Benji, oh, sorry, I had 2D on. He goes,
and I love that everyone like hears him say that.
Yeah.
And like they're just like, oh, shit.
I love that one thing I also really appreciate is that they keep cutting back to Luther whenever Benji fucks up. And Luther's just like, God damn it. God damn it, Benji.
Hey, man, I get it, though. You know, there's a bunch of knobs and switches.
It's not easy. It's not a perfect science. Of course, then we get the moment where he's like, I'm jumping out of the window. And Benji goes, oh. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like, this is not going to be good. He jumps out of a 3-story window. He was up there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they did this practically or not, but that landing was brutal. But he lands, panda rolls, gets up, starts running and starts catching up actually with Walker as they round over to the Tate Museum, which I hope to go to when we go to London to meet and greet.
The Tate Museum?
That's what it's called, yeah. Tate.
Oh, Tate. I thought it was a museum of tape. And I was like, oh, a lot of
Kevin would love that. Yeah.
Suddenly, Kevin's not as excited for this museum as he was when it was the Tape Museum. Ethan spots Walker. Walker's running into this bell tower thing. Not really a bell tower, just a very big tower. He runs in after him and just in a dumb plan decides to jump onto the bottom of this old elevator.
He's just desperate.
And he's just desperate. Looks up and Walker's just staring at him with a gun.
Scene where, as an audience member, I'm like, oh shit. What's he gonna do?
It's a great aw shit moment, but it's what's his face showing off how like he understands the next step. Ethan chilling there totally can get killed by him, but he knows that now like dude's working for Lane.
He's working for Lane.
So he's not gonna kill him.
Lane wants him alive. For you. Yeah. Lane wants you alive. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna turn yourself in and watch the world burn. And Ethan's like, why would I do that? And in just the most fucked up thing, takes out a picture and lays it on the grate. And who do we see? It's Julia. He's like, basically, if you don't walk away from this, I'm going to kill her.
Who's she played by? Monahan?
Michelle Monaghan.
Michelle Monaghan.
I believe is her name. We can look that up.
I believe it is, yeah.
And it sucks. Walker, of course, the elevator stops. Walker goes up to the top of the roof. Ethan does a little juke move where he climbs up too and gets up onto the top of this thing that doesn't look like it's got an exit, but I guess it must have an exit. I'm pretty sure those two, the elevator and that, were shot in completely different locations. Doesn't matter.
Real quick, though. He held on to the bottom of elevator that was
whole conversation.
At least 8 stories.
I feel like Bond did that in a movie. That was done in another movie too, where I think Daniel Craig did that in a Bond movie. I think he did it in Skyfall, where the guy's like going up in the glass elevator and just goes whoop, and grabs it, and you just see him go up. Either way, really cool,
crazy,
really cool stunt.
Cool.
Of course, too little, too late. He gets up there, and Walker is already on the helicopter with Lane. And Lane just looks at him as the helicopter pulls out and takes off.
Very reminiscent of Philip Seymour Hoffman flying off in the helicopter and kind of waving. He was like, later, man.
Yeah. We go back to the hideouts and they start going, and Luther's going over the schematics for these 3 nukes, and they're not easy to defuse. Basically, any attempt to defuse one bomb sets the other off, and once the countdown has started, it basically can't be stopped. So technically, this is a suicide mission where we're going to go and find these things.
No, it's the opposite, right? Like, it can't be stopped unless the countdown starts.
Well, they figure that out later.
Later.
That's what they figure out later. But basically, these bombs are unstoppable. They're the best designed bombs ever. And then there's a nice little scene here where Luther tells Ilsa about Julia. He pulls her aside.
I love this.
It's really good.
I hate how she doesn't care, though.
She does.
It's a great conversation, but
it's her mission.
Literally 5 seconds later, he's like, hey, are you coming? And she's like, fuck yeah, I'm coming. It's like, well, he just told you not to come. He was like, don't come.
Basically,
this is gonna make his life harder.
He's like, if he has more things to focus on, then it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna end well. If less things is better, so I'm asking you not to come. But Ilsa that's not what she is to Ethan.
Yeah.
To Ethan, she's like, I'm part of this team. I'm gonna be ride or die with him. Like, I think I'm better if I'm by his side than if I'm running in the wind like Julia is. Because I'm not going to be a ghost to basically haunt him for the rest of his life. I'm going to be right here fucking fighting with him.
I love how emotional Luther gets as well.
Yeah.
So I think it was really good acting.
That was a very poignant moment. Yeah. Now what sucks is that also like that's the moment where you come to understand like, oh man, Julia is fucked. Like her entire life, regardless of her relationship with Ethan, screwed. She just has to be in hiding, doing like aliases and shit like that. Yeah. Even though their relationship is done.
Her bad, dude.
Well, they said, and they set this up. We don't.
No, it was Ethan's bad.
We don't
he shouldn't have. 2 years ago, when what's his name? The friend.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No.
Luther
was like, "Hey, don't do this. You're gonna fuck up everyone's life." He was 100% right.
And it's sad because he talks about he's like they were happy for a while. Like he quit the game, they were happy for a while, but every time something happened, Ethan like was sad because he should have been there to help it out, and she realized that, and she realized that he wasn't happy in the relationship, and so they broke up. But unfortunately, as a reaction to that, or because of that, she had to go into the wind and become a ghost. Occasionally, she sends up a red flag just to let everyone know she's okay.
She's good at it.
She's good at it because I taught her, and Luther says I taught her myself. That's why she's good at it.
Yeah.
And of course, so he says basically, she's like, why are you telling me this? And he goes, because you're fucking with Ethan. You need to go. And she's like, I'm not going to go anywhere. And he immediately just tells Ethan, I'm coming with you. And he goes, cool. How do we find them? Well, guess what? The microwave tracker, you turn it back on. And actually, I guess he says, we took out one tracker and put our own tracker in. Which I was like, I guess you would have done that because you know how slippery this guy is. So they track him. Right now he's flying over Europe. And we're going to go there and meet him there for the end. And the guy goes, should we call the CIA? And he goes, fuck that. They're infiltrated. We got to go. We're on our own. We're going to Kashmir, which, of course, was the site where they said the smallpox thing goes off.
But I love that they keep asking, like, why are they targeting this area?
Well, yeah, and so they set up the fact that there is a medical aid foundation, like a WHO organization there, to have cleaned up the smallpox epidemic. And he's like, why would they want? So the smallpox was a guise to get this organization there, but he's like, why would they want this aid,
this small
relief
area,
thing to be here? Why would they want that? By the way, Kashmir just looks fucking stunning. I absolutely want to go there. It's gorgeous.
There's also that line
in the elevator, the guardian angel.
Yeah, the guardian angel, where we get payoff for that later, where he's like, I'm her guardian angel. If anything happens, like if you are seen anywhere, dead.
And then they just kind of throw out that the fact that this area is on a fault line of all this clean water that basically supplies water to like fucking every country, like Russia, China, India, and Southern California, all these places. If they nuke this, it's gonna fucking kill a lot of people. Basically, it'll poison the water for a lot of countries. They can't. I'm sorry.
That moment of Rebecca Ferguson realizing that in the I think they were in the helicopter or in a plane or something, but she's like, "Oh shit! Like this will kill
a third of the population."
Yeah, all the crops that feeds a third of the world's population. Right. It's like, wow, that's
intense. Very well done. And I like that it's not the world's going to end, but it is like we're going to fuck up the world severely in this. We definitely want this to stop. They still don't understand why there's a medical camp there, but let's see. Benji then goes, "Oh shit! I think I figured it out. If we can get the key out of the detonator, right? The other two can cut the fuses and we can defuse these bombs. But the catch is the countdown has to have started. So we have to let the bombs start the countdown and then we can do all this stuff. We got to go this stuff and go, cool. Well, that's our plan. Great. They get to the camp. Lane starts setting up the bomb and all that stuff and then tells Walker to get out of here. He goes, you have 15 minutes to reach minimum safe distance. Just bounce. I'm staying here. This ends with me. The team gets to the medical camp.
I end here.
And there's signals everywhere, of course, because there's radiation everywhere because they have X-ray machines, all that stuff. And then we get it. We finally realize why there's a medical camp there. We hear her go, Ethan? And he turns around. Who's there? Julia.
Wifey.
And this was a point I didn't see necessarily coming. When I watched this the first time, I was like, oh, fuck, that's fucked up. Like, you're going to die there, and you're going to have to watch the woman you love get nuked, and you can't do shit about it. That's some fucked up shit. That's some revenge right there. Of course, Ethan calls himself Rob, and he's like, "Oh, we're coworkers." And Julie brings over her new husband, Dick McDickerton, Eric, who I don't like this guy at all.
He seemed like he was trying to be like
nice.
He was trying to be super nice and be like, "Oh, this is your friend? He's on vacation. No, I'm working." Yeah, that was another great moment of like.
But he's totally the guy that's like, oh no, I'm totally okay with your with your ex-boyfriend hanging out with us. Totally great with this. I'm not insecure about this at all. Trust me. Trust me.
Know it's an ex-boyfriend.
Come on over.
At that
he
point,
fucking knew they banged.
I'm with Nick on this one.
Tom Cruise they banged.
If your chick knows Tom Cruise, they banged. You see what I'm saying?
Just a fact,
like if my wife was like, "Oh, I know Tom," I'd be like, "Oh man, they banged."
I know Tom.
They banged. Either way, would you get that great line where she's like, "He's on vacation." He goes, "No, I'm working." And she realizes shit's going down.
We have some Guardian Angel talk here too, right?
A little bit later, I think we get the moment where she's like, "Oh yeah, our Guardian Angel came out of nowhere and like got us here because they paid for everything and built this essentially."
Right. And so we get the idea that Lane set this whole thing up and requested specifically. He said, "I'll fund the whole thing, but it has to be you two."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Cool, that's great." And at that point, I'd have been like, "Someone's trying to kill me because I've been on." This is not good, but either way, Julia, not that well trained. Of course, Eric's like, "Hey, I'll leave you guys together. I'm gonna go pack up the rest of the shit. You guys hang out." Ethan's like, "Cool." Pulls her aside and just goes, "I'm fucking sorry," and then runs. He's like, "Julia, I'm sorry."
And again, we get another moment of him fucking the super running, but this time we have the like perspective of Julia because the camera kind of like pans out wide and we see that, and it's just one of those things like he is unhuman. You know, he's just moving like no one should.
So fast. Of course, Luther and Benji look over and they see something that looks like a weird telecommunications like thing and realize it's the bomb. Pull that first bomb down. Luther goes to work as Ethan spots Walker heading, like he's got the detonator. He sees him going into the helicopter and he goes, "It's too late." And Ethan goes, "Nope, I'm going to get that detonator." Benji's like, "It's too late." "No, I'm going to get it." No, Ethan just starts running toward the helicopter.
You just have to trust me.
And this is when Ilsa goes, "What the hell is he doing?" And Benji goes, "You know what? I find it best not to look." And he fucking, like the balls on this guy, grabs the payload and just goes up with the helicopter with it. Just
so cool.
Hanging. And another practical stunt where some dude, I think it was actually Tom Cruise, is just hanging off this line like hundreds of feet above the air, attached to a helicopter, and then just starts gym class climbing it. Like, the kind of thing that used to make Andy a little hard.
Yeah.
God.
Makes your wiener feel good.
Wiener.
No, Andy, don't phrase it that way.
He gets to the top and he does the thing where he tries to hook his leg over onto like a landing sled and then misses and drops. Yeah. And it's like another oh fuck moment. And then it's revealed as the helicopter pulls up that he's hanging onto the bottom of it. It's like totally
That's
intense.
another thing where the practicality really sells it, because it's like
you get a gut moment.
It's just a dude trying to like jungle gym up. There's nothing impressive about that when it's CG and whatever. But when you can tell it's somebody and then they miss, it gives your stomach that dropping feeling.
What's worse is like you see him put his foot on the black part that is not stable, and that's what tilts over, and it's just like, holy shit. Like, my palms were sweating at that moment of like, and I'd already seen it, I knew that he fell and caught himself.
Julia, of course, catches up with Luther, and he's like, hey, what's going on? She's like, cut the shit. What the fuck is going on here? Meanwhile, Benji's like, you should get her out of there, and Luther just goes, where's she gonna go?
Here.
Wait, she catches up with Luther as he's starting to disarm a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
She's like,
and she's like, is that what I think it is? And he's like, yeah, it is.
And she goes, cool, how can I help? And he goes, you know what? Fuck it. Like, you give me the thing, and they have a great back and forth. She's like, remember, I'm not, like, I'm a doctor, not a tech guy.
The green tweezers.
The green tweezers. Got it. Thank you very much. This is a nice little, and it's a good moment because you know that these people know each other.
They have a past.
And they got a past, and it's cool. Ethan radios, of course. We see him. We cut back to Ethan. He's hanging off the bottom of the thing. Climbs it again. Finally makes it over to what are those little things called? The little sleddy thingies. The landing gear, I guess.
Yeah, it's landing gear.
Makes it over. Gets into the helicopter, much to the incredible surprise of the guy in the back seat.
I love it.
I mean, you gotta.
This guy's like, what the fuck? Like, where did you come from?
I feel like his reaction is totally real.
It's
of like,
so good.
Wait, how? How are you on this?
Ethan bounces that guy out. Meanwhile, the guy accidentally shoots the pilot. The thing goes into a spin. Ethan gets control of it and radios back to Benji. I'm in the helicopter. And he goes, how the fuck did you get in the helicopter? And he's like, do you even know how to pilot a helicopter?
Yeah, Ferguson says that, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I guess the character doesn't 100% know how to pilot a helicopter.
No, because he's trying to figure it out. I mean, he understands he understands
he's
it.
Like,
maybe
okay, the air speed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's cutting back and forth between Julia helping to disarm this bomb. They're cool as a cucumber. Cuts back to the helicopter. Ethan realizes something's dragging, looks down and sees the package and realizes, oh, I can use this package
to down the other one.
To down the other helicopter. Finds a little button that says package control, whatever.
Payload.
A payload, that's what it is. Gets up, pulls up, right, and just...
And all these scenes look great.
Oh, they're so great.
Good.
Again,
and why do they look good? Because they stuck a camera on a helicopter, and Tom Cruise. Yeah, and Tom Cruise learned how to fly a helicopter.
Yeah.
Took him 3 months of every day learning how to fly. Not just fly, but like stunt fly. A helicopter.
Really, really cool.
Very few people in the world know how to do this.
Very few people have learned that quickly. Like, I remember during the morning show watching that featurette where Christopher McQuarrie's like, nobody's ever learned how to fly a helicopter this fast. Like, it's intense. What is wrong with this guy?
I like to think that Ethan Hunt is like that's who he really is. Tom Cruise is the character.
Yeah. Really good at sketching faces.
It's awesome. Ethan, of course, gets up above him and he goes and he literally says, hold this for me, would you? Takes the package and meanwhile, but the helicopter pilot sees it and dodges it. And then we get a great moment where they start chasing each other down like through the trench run, like it's in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. We get a great moment where Henry Cavill just looks over and goes, fuck. Turns around, pulls out a 50 cal and just starts unleashing fury on that back helicopter. And it's so cool because they're flying and he's going back and forth as Cavill goes to the other side to shoot him, then the other side to shoot him, and he's dodging, and it's really, really great.
They have those like incendiary round bullets that like
the trackers, the tracers rather.
It does the little like line of fire.
Every like fourth bullet is like makes it look like so you can see where your fire is going. It's really cool. The tracers.
It's so cool.
All this stuff looks great. Let's see.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I don't know if you know that, but they paint like there's some rounds that are like that flash red, so you can see as you're firing where your rounds are going with 50 cals. It's really cool. Of course, they're having a great conversation. Cut back and forth. Luther and Julia are hanging out, and she's like, "So how's Ethan?" And he goes, "Well, same old Ethan." And it cuts back, and he's getting hammered like 50 cal rounds. He's dodging them in a helicopter. Really, really fun little back and forth there. Of course, Ilsa and Benji are looking for the other bomb, and Benji figures out that he gets a read in this room. He's like, "I think it's in this." Opens it up, but Ilsa's like, "Wait a minute. If we're looking here, this is where Lang would have wanted us to look. I'm gonna go look in the villages where the bomb shouldn't be." Benji opens the room, and of course, everything is locked and everything's radiated. And he's like, shit. He has a great moment where he's about to shoot the lock, and he's like, oh, nuclear bomb. Yeah. Puts his gun away, takes out an air container, and just starts smashing through things. Of course, it's not in there. And Ilsa looks over and sees Lang in one of the buildings and goes, shit, he's here.
And Lang just goes, oh, shit.
Yeah, and goes inside. She goes back in very cautiously, but Lang gets the better of her and knocks her out. And she wakes up in a chair. But she has radioed back to Benji. She's like, she finds the bomb first, and then Lang gets the better of her. And Benji's like, shit, okay, the bomb's not here. Proceeds to keep looking through cases or something like that. I don't know. It was weird.
No.
He already looked through all the cases.
He leaves and goes over to the huts, but doesn't know which one it is.
She's in.
So it's just like, I don't remember her name in the thing, but like
Ilsa?
Yeah, Ilsa.
Right. Ilsa wakes tied to a chair with a noose around her neck, and Lane is just talking shit and says, you can't stop this. Meanwhile, Benji finally comes in, and he's like, you're not going to want to watch this.
Turns her around.
Yeah. Then we're back in the air. Ethan's chopper's in a bad way because some of the bullets have hit it and it starts smoking, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but like get me, right? He's literally trying to ram the other helicopter, which is like I got nothing else. Yeah, he's gonna ram it.
Fuck it.
And Henry Cavill's like, what the fuck, dude?
The engine starts sparking.
What is it? Henry Cavill said something he's trying to ram
us.
Oh, he's trying to ram us.
He goes, he's trying to ram us.
So ridiculous.
This crazy psychopath.
Yeah.
And he runs out of bullets.
He runs out of bullets.
Yeah.
He goes, shit, doesn't know what to do. And Ethan just and it's cool. There's one part where like one of the helicopters hits the snowtop mountain and all that shit. And then finally Ethan catches up to him, and what does he do? Sure as shit, rams into the back of the helicopter, almost getting his head taken off by the rudder in the back, and just takes both copters down. They start tumbling, and finally Ethan comes to the edge of a cliff. Meanwhile, he doesn't know where the other one is. We cut back to the room, of course. Benji comes in.
And gets the shit.
Sees Ilsa, and Ilsa's like screaming at him, don't do it. And Lang just hands him his ass.
Yeah.
Puts the noose around his neck, strings him up, and Ilsa, not knowing what else to do, goes, fuck it. Stands up, and in just such a Black Widow moment, just hurls her chair onto a table, destroying the chair and probably her lower back at the same time.
Her arms too, right? Because they were tied to the back. So violent.
The great fight scene here where they're fighting back and forth. She breaks a bottle and stabs Lane in the neck, and then tosses it to Benji.
In the leg.
Excuse me. Tosses it to Benji. Benji grabs it and starts kind of cutting himself out. But she's already kicked. By the way, she kicked a little box over to him so he could wouldn't die.
Kind of
I have real fear for Benji.
Yeah.
I thought we were losing.
Yeah, he was gonna die. This scene's just fucking great, right? Where they're fighting. He beats her up.
She tries doing her
tries to put him in a triangle. Doesn't work. They fight. She finally, meanwhile, Benji's little the box that's holding him up precariously gets knocked out from underneath him. He's trying not to pass out as he's trying to cut the thing, but he can't make it work and starts passing out. But she does get the better of Lang, puts him in a triangle choke, which is very bad, hard position to get out of, by the way. Mounts him, a mounted triangle, where she's putting all her weight on his neck, and then also grabs a rope as well and starts fucking double strangling him. Looks over at Benji and has to make the hard choice of like, nah, sorry, Benji, I gotta kill this dude, because if I don't kill him right now, like, we're all dead. Just watches as the life just strangles out of this guy's eyes. He passes out. Lang's dead forever. She makes the right choice. Super smart idea. Put a bullet in his fucking head. Goes over, cuts Benji down. He gasps for it. He's still alive, and that's great. We cut back over to the mountain, and Tom wakes up and is like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? Looks over as the other helicopter starts tumbling for him. And you think he's gonna pull a cool thing here where he gets out of, nope. Just the other one just bounces and both go off the edge, come down into the cliff, get wedged into the side of this cliff.
We see Jurassic Park style.
Jurassic Park 2 style, which is great.
As it's coming down, we see the shot of the hook kind of like moving along the thing. And then, the hook catches. Oh, so cool.
Hook catches. They're looking down, and this is where we get the unfortunate scene where I think it's an oil line bursts and starts squirting hot oil all over Henry Cavill's face, and he just screams.
Some great acting there. That shit looked like it was
Jesus Christ.
burning.
Puts his hand and then moves out of the way. Ethan looks down and sees the detonator hanging and just goes, fuck it. Unclips and just Superman flies down to him, knocking him down, and the inertia knocks all the stuff down. They tumble again. Ethan gets thrown out of it, as I think Walker gets thrown out too, as a hook. The hook that had the payload.
Oh, that's when that happens.
Catches onto a rock, and the other thing spools downward, and Ethan kind of looks up. Meanwhile, we cut back to the house. Not dead, laying, just hogtied. Kill him.
He's an asset. He's useful in some way.
Whatever.
I don't know.
But they start doing surgery. Hey, we're at the bomb. Start doing surgery and calling back and forth. Luther walks them through what to do. Unscrew this, unscrew that. They get basically ready to cut. And they're like, we got to wait because we got to give Ethan as much time as possible to get this detonator. And they're like, what if he doesn't do it? And Luther's like, he's going to get it. Don't worry.
The conversation they have where it's like, all right, I guess we'll cut it at 2. Why not 1? Do you really want to cut it that close?
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's 1 second we can't have back.
yeah, exactly.
And this scene's like, you would think like as I'm describing this, I'm like, it's a very long scene, but it's you're in the moment. It's so good because they cut, the editing's great. He looks over and he pulls up the strap that the detonator was attached to, but there's no detonator. And he's like, fuck. And he looks over and it's on the edge of the cliff. And then who do we see walk into frame? Walker. He's not dead yet. And he's like, God damn it. And just tackles him to the ground.
Beat up.
Dude, there's one line that we missed that I think Walker says right before Ethan.
Why won't you just die?
Yeah, why won't you just die?
Yeah.
Great. They start
good.
fucking each other up. And Ethan grabs a hold of him, gets his back for a second, and Walker just... Actually, I think what happens is Ethan goes to arm throw him, but Walker holds onto him, which is it happens, by the way. That's the danger of doing that arm throw. That's why people don't do it. But he holds onto him, and they both tumble over the side of the mountain, basically onto the helicopter that's hanging below. Ethan starts climbing the rope, but realizes this thing's unsturdy as fuck. But guess what? I'm gonna use all that experience from Mission Impossible 2, free solo climbing.
I know, it came back, dude.
Boop, boop. Just little gingerly like gets onto the thing. Henry Cavill's like, oh, that's probably a good idea. I'm gonna do it too. Gets onto the thing as well. Starts gaining on him, and Ethan just looks down at him, looks up, realizes it's like the cable's really precarious, and just goes, fuck it, yanks it, and the hook just goes right through
his fucking
Henry Cavill's fucking head.
God.
Just right into his face.
And you see the blood splatter as his body hits the rocks.
It's brutal. But the action ain't over yet because guess what? He's still got.
And he looks down and Henry Cavill gets up. He's like, come on, man.
This, of course, is great because he's like, I got to climb. He starts climbing furiously. Then we get the back and forth where he's like, all right, we've done everything we could have done. Let's cut on 2. And Ben's like, cut 2. Let's cut on 1. What are you talking about? And he's like, we're never going to get that second back. He's like, fine, let's cut on 1. It's great. All right, are we going to do it? Does Ethan have it? We don't know. Fuck it. We just got to take it, right? And he goes 3, 2, 1, go. White. Fades back in. Ethan's watching the sunset as he's literally hanging off the side of the cliff. He's got the detonator in his hand and the key in his fucking mouth.
Yes.
Spits the key out, lets the detonator drop basically onto Henry Cavill's burned, charred, fucked up body. Climbs back up and barely has just enough energy to just flop down on the edge of the cliff. And it has a sigh of relief as he passes out as he sees a helicopter coming toward him.
There was a moment while he was climbing where I was thinking like, hey, he's just stuck there. Like there's no way he's gonna get back up from this. Like if it were me, I would have been like, I guess I'm just gonna be on this cliff forever. I'm just gonna jump off.
And back we cut back, of course, over to the camp, and the bombs go. They shut down and they open up and drop the plutonium cores, and Luther just goes, my man. And then like Benji looks over at Lane like, fuck you. At that point, I would have just been like this. Pow, pow, pow.
Yeah, Lane just like puts his head in the ground and he's like, God damn it.
He got me again.
Damn
it. Great moment here where Ethan's kind of coming in and out of consciousness. And the first person he sees as he comes out is Ilsa, and then he sees Benji and his team and Luther behind him. Passes out again, wakes up, and Julia's there. And he goes...
Doesn't he pass out to the CIA?
Yeah, well, he passed out to the CIA headquarters. There's lots of little cuts here, but basically Sloan saved him, came in and then saved him. He finally comes to, and Julia's by his bedside. And Eric's there too. And he's like, hey, Rob, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, kind of trying to keep his cover, tongue in cheek, realizing this guy's not who he says he is. And also, he definitely banged my wife. Like, definitely banged my wife.
It's cool that your friend was there, or else he would have died, which also would have been cool. I mean, not
he's like,
not great.
One more hour, he would have died of exposure. Luckily, your friend was there, and Sloane's there, and everyone's like, you're a fucking idiot, Eric. Get the fuck out of here. Eric, let's...
I hate him so much.
I hate him too. I'm not gonna lie.
Fuck out, dude.
So much projecting here.
Because dude, you're not cool.
You're not cool.
You're being fake. That's all I'm saying.
No,
this guy's being fake.
Also, why'd she move on? That's some devastating stuff.
Well,
he didn't have another love interest. He kind of likes Ilsa.
He didn't have another love interest?
He kind of likes Ilsa. They haven't made a move on it.
He's made a move on every single fucking thing he's could.
A lot. Ethan apologizes to Julia. She's like, Ethan, you're just doing your job. He goes, no, I apologize for everything. And she's she's like, look, no need. I love my life. Like, I got a great husband, travel the world. Only occasionally do I get put in complete and moral fucking danger. But you know what? Guess what? I know that I sleep well every night because I know you're out there, and no matter what happens, you got it on lock. And that's really, really great. And then she...
Also, you got this pussy on lock. Is what
Damn. Passing of the torch, dude.
Yeah.
I get it.
Ethan cries and is very glad that she's happy. And she's like, you're right where you should be. Like, I'm where I should be, and you're right where you should be. Like, it worked out. Of course, she gets up. She kisses him on the forehead. As the team comes in, led by Ilsa first. So the first person we see come through the door is Ilsa. And then they have a little exchange where she whispers something to Ilsa.
Threesome.
Which is, that's what I was hoping. Or actually, Ilsa whispers something to Julia, I should say. And they have a little, like, we both love him very much. And then the narration kicks in by Sloane. And she goes, per your request, I'm handing Solomon Lane back to MI6 through a broker, of course. And we see the White Widow, like, handling that. They put him in the trunk.
Ethan, a lot of trust there.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, Ethan was there in that. His face is fixed now. So you figure it's a little bit in the future as we're getting this kind of flash forward. Let's see, part of our ongoing arrangement with her, and then what happened in Paris. We prefer to keep a low profile, and basically that closes your friend's account with British intelligence. Ilsa's free. She's good. She's good to go and operate however she wants. Ilsa goes to Ethan's bedside, and she like touches me, goes, watch the ribs and don't make me laugh. And then the narration kicks back in and says, I understand why Hundley believed in you. The world needs the IMF. We need people who care about the one life as much as they care about the millions. And this is where we have that little touching moment where like she's checking him out, and he's like he looks at her and kind of sees her bruise, and you realize they really, really care about each other. And it's nice. He's like, how do I look? She's like, you've never looked better, which is nice. And then the narration kicks back in, finishing the sentiment. We need someone. The world needs someone who will care about one life as much as they care about millions. And she finishes with, that way I never have to. Proving once and for all that Sloane is just tough as fucking nails. And then Benji asks, how close were we? And he goes, the usual. And they all have a little bit of a chuckle. And Ethan goes, oh, please don't make me laugh. And that's the last line.
It.
And then we cut to the credits.
Mission Impossible.
And that's really, really good.
Now it's time for a little Villain Impossible.
Villain. Impossible.
All right, so the list stands.
Well, this is Walker and
Lane and Walker. Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if Lane was as good in this as he was in 5.
I didn't like him as much as in. I like him now.
But he didn't even do that much in this. Like in 5, he was like always a step ahead. And this one, he was just kind of like.
But I feel like he was always a step ahead. These were all like he caused everything that happened now. Plus, we get more like he caused the issue, the thing in 2. Yeah,
Yeah, clever. I just feel like the plan was more nefarious and like more Dark Knight-y in the other one. I thought he was just more wicked in the other one. In this one, he was just kind of like. This is all of this is a foregone conclusion. I could go either way. I could go either way.
I think he's better in this. Last time we had Lane and Atlee, so is Walker like?
I think Walker's better than Atlee
for sure.
All right, we'll put him on top.
Walker sucks though. I don't like Walker.
Yeah, but like
Walker was dangerous. At least you felt like he was this brute force.
Oh, I liked Walker.
So do we think the combo is better than last week's Lane and Atlee?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes as well.
All right, there you go.
Hey man, that's your thing, dude.
Sure.
You're different.
I agree though.
All right, excellent.
Thanks, Andy.
Now it's time for a little haiku in review.
7 syllables in the middle. You'll need 5 for the first and last line.
What?
If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme.
Freaky.
Haiku in review. Haiku in review. Let's change it up.
Yeah, I know. I like the change ups. Sean Bolin from Game Attack writes in saying, this bitch got it all. Bike chase, car chase, foot chase, max, chopper chase, hook face.
I like that.
I did enjoy that. Now going over to Patreon, Dennis J writes in and says some interesting stuff here. Sean Harris is an actor who was very sketchy about being in franchise movies. Sean Harris is Solomon. Meaning the director promised him he would get killed off at the end of Rogue Nation to prevent his character from showing up in later installments. However, the director couldn't figure out a way for him to be killed off satisfyingly in the film's climax. He ensured people working on the movie that it would keep Sean happy by not bringing him back, while doing so jokingly suggesting unless Ethan has to break him out of prison. Tom Cruise coincidentally had the same idea, leading to the two developing the idea for Fallout.
So good.
Awesome.
So yeah, that is great.
We're not done seeing him, man. You know what
Alec Bobko says, Superman gets hooked, Ethan continues to climb. Mission accomplished.
Nice.
That's really good.
Stole my final line for the episode. Thanks, Alex.
Let's see. Tensa says, never thought I would see the day that Superman turns into Two-Face.
Ah, that's cool.
I like that.
That's cool.
And he definitely had this Two-Face vibe with his hair, kind of
Yeah.
the wavy hair.
Let me see. I want a good one. Oh, let's end on this. The secretary says, this movie ended on such a high. Do we need another? Am I? It's a solid question.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's because I'll take way more from this team,
Yeah.
man. Let's go, baby. All right, now it's time for us to rank the Mission Impossible movies. Current ranking, number 1, Rogue Nation. Number 2, Ghost Protocol. Number 3, Mission Impossible 3. Number 4, Mission Impossible. And number 6, Mission Impossible 2. I loved this movie so much. I think that this franchise is such a special thing. It came from a dark place.
It did. It
Into
had to
a very
evolve.
just gray space.
Yeah.
But man, did they end strong. But Rogue Nation is one of the best movies I've ever damn seen. And I firmly put this at a number 2 because I feel like Rogue Nation is so tight, the stakes are great, the characters are great, it has the whole team. I love the dialogue in it a lot more than I did in this one. And I like Jeremy Renner a lot too.
Yeah.
I feel like his presence
had a lot
was
more
missed in
Benji
this,
also.
and a lot more Benji. It's like everything I'm looking for in these type of movies, Rogue Nation had it all. This though had some of the coolest set pieces of all time. The Halo drop and the helicopter scene were just amazing, and the tension at the end of this movie was just palpable.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, the tension at the end of this movie was so real, and like I knew what was gonna happen. There's no way this whole team they fail, But when they flash to white, when they fade to white, it's very much like
They could have had credits.
yeah,
there.
holy shit, did they fuck this up? And I feel like this movie was more subtle, more like thought out. I love this movie. I would put this in number 1 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because Kevin's right. Like, they somehow gave you everything. You knew exactly what was going to happen, but it was still really exciting and really tense to watch the third act of this film. But you fucking knew. There's no way. You see him hanging off a cliff, you're like, he's a free solo climber. He's going to get up there. It's going to be fine. But yet there's about one moment where you're like, oh, okay. Like, and that's really the sign of really good filmmakers and really clever writing and really great choreography is that they're giving you something your expectations are just being blown out of the fucking water, even though you know what's going to happen. It's wild. Having said that, I'm kind of with Tim on this though, in that this movie was just a little long upon second viewing. Whereas I feel like I forgot how fun Rogue Nation was.
It's tight.
And it's a lot more ridiculous and a lot more kind of tongue-in-cheeky, which I think I like that vibe a little bit more than this. The serious vibe for me made this drag a little bit in parts. I do love the Halo jump. I like all the set pieces, but I might give Rogue Nation a little bit of a nod above this.
I would put this. This reminds me a lot of Ghost Protocol, where I appreciate the stunts and the set pieces a lot more than the ones in Rogue Nation. But I think Rogue Nation just overall tells a better story with better characters and better relationships between everybody.
And it feels more like an espionage movie as well, where like this one just feels like a straight action movie. And again, not a knock against this one. This one does. I think this is the best action, like one of the best action movies ever made. Honestly, the fact that they can do all this stuff and do it with such fucking style
and the best face
really make
reveals,
you still care.
I think.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
A lot of that stuff, but I think it loses a lot of points for Ilsa just popping up in random places. Some of the sloppy choreography in like the bunker settings where you're like, what the fuck is happening here? The quick like
the dark
how do we
scene.
get? There's just quick cutaways where you're like, that's not clever. Where like Luther just comes out of the shadows and like keeps popping people in the neck with trackers. So some of that stuff was not as well thought out as I wanted to. Whereas I feel Rogue Nation when it gets to the end where he puts him in the box, it's so satisfying. And it's such a fuck you moment to Lang that I gotta give it to him.
Man.
It is hard. It is hard. I mean,
and by the way, I came into watching Fallout for the second time, fully expecting it to be number 1. So it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that it's not. But
I mean, it's damn good.
It's so fucking good.
Barrett, you have any thoughts on this?
A lot of what you and Nick said. I was also like in like a weird mood. It was like late last night. Halfway through, I borrowed Andy's Blu-ray copy. Halfway through, the discs started fucking up, so I had to like rent it and all that stuff.
I mean, that's not the movie's fault.
Yeah, don't blame the movie.
That's fucked up, bro.
I was just, I was in the mood last night to not watch this movie and to go to bed, and so like I was in a weird headspace, which is not the movie.
So we shouldn't count your vote.
Yeah,
I agree.
all right, fuck it.
No, what do you think? What's your vote, Barrett? Well, you got to be the tiebreaker, or he's not. He's saying
I mean,
don't
we're
count
doing
the vote.
the-
I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't think at this point.
Yeah,
So
it
doing
sounds like
the
everyone's
votes,
putting it
who
to
thinks
me.
it's better than Mission Impossible 3? Raise your hand. We all raise your hands. Who thinks it's better than Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol? Raise your hand. We all raise our hand. Who thinks it's better than Rogue Nation? Raise your hand. No.
Just me.
I'll say me too.
There it is. Come on.
Andy and Kev.
Barrett.
Well, now, does Barrett have to be the tiebreaker on this?
No,
Well,
Barrett wants it as number 2, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, the Mission Impossible movies so far. Number 1, Rogue Nation. Number 2, Fallout. Number 3, Ghost Protocol. Number 4, Mission Impossible 3. Number 5, Mission Impossible. And number 6,
Where it's been since the beginning.
2.
Dude, these interviews,
Where's Tandy Newton at?
when we're watching like quality movies, they get so difficult at the end where it's like, yeah, dude, number 2, the ending of Fallout was like, I don't know if a movie has ever made me feel so suspenseful for something that like I knew the outcome for. So it's great movies.
I think
They're all
Rogue Nation,
so good.
Rogue Nation degraded that too with like the Benji having the bomb strapped to him and all that. I love that shit.
Like, how are they getting out of this situation?
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Next week, Avengers Endgame.
Oh my God.
MCU review returns. Greg Miller returns. Where it all begins.
I'm so excited.
Where it all begins again is what I was going to say.
sure.
Oh man, can't fucking wait. Until next time.
Mission accomplished.
Oh.